And for our streaming audience, we want to welcome you in here live on YouTube, our first broadcast of the 2019 season here, live on YouTube, Sterling TV 19. Tad Kozaneski, Kevin Schulz, and our student out front here,
Andrew Kane, John Hallwood.
John Hallwood. That's
and
John.
Andrew Kane on the camera. So these guys made it out here, and we've got a nice night. I mean, you talk about the weather, Tad. We always say when you're in September, there's been a lot of Septembers where you're dealing with days where there's 90-degree heat, humidity. You don't have that tonight. So it's great for the guys that are going both ways. Really, the last 2 weeks, it's been that way. Although last week you had to deal with the rain. So it's just a matter of Sterling right now believing they can beat this Haddonfield team that was the state champion last year, were outstanding last year, lost a lot from that, but always have a winning tradition. And in talking to the kids, they really feel good about this game, feel confident in themselves. And I think, that's the first step you have to take in beating a very good Haddonfield team.
John, obviously you're a student around here. What's the feeling with the student bodies that get ready for a big game like this?
It's definitely very exciting against two big rival teams here. As you always want your see your school win. Really, that's about it.
So everybody is ready, and again, last year, Haddonfield, Kevin, they won Group 2 here in South Jersey. They had an unbelievable season. They went 13-0, and they lost a lot of players from that team.
They did, and it was one of the more impressive teams. I mean, from what the kids were able to do, what the coaches were able to do, beating some very talented teams, a talented Pleasantville team that had 2 or 3 Division I players, a Camden team that I believe had 3 or 4 Division I caliber players, but found a way to neutralize those players on both sides of the ball, came away with big wins there, and went up to that bowl game and ultimately won the state championship.
And to show you how good this team was, usually the Group 4 or 5 teams in football are your number 1 seeds, and to have a Group 2 team be number 1 really speaks volume for how good they are.
Amazing, and it also speaks to the type of schedule Sterling had last year, playing Haddonfield twice, playing Paulsboro, playing West Deptford, playing Willingboro. They're 5 teams that made it to the championship game in their respective divisions in South Jersey. So this conference, as far as Group 2 goes, is probably one of the tougher conferences year in and year out.
You're seeing down at the right side of the field, that's the Haddonfield cheerleaders. They're getting set to welcome their team on the field here at this very old yet now modernized complex as we're on the turf. Some nice improvements. They've done a nice job. A few years ago, they played their games at Cherry Hill West, but it's always fun to come here, Kevin.
And a great vantage point for us being up here high, and I always like the fact that they can retain the old look, the architecture. Some schools, Collingswood, a place we used to love to go to, the big press box, the concrete stands, theirs was deemed irreparable, and they had to tear everything down. So it's good they were able to keep everything intact and just make the necessary improvements.
So early on, this is a fantastic game going on. So it looks pretty good so far. All right, Mr. Farr checking in, saying we're looking pretty good. So again, want to say hello to everybody checking us out on YouTube. Want to thank Paul Mays as well. Paul Mays, our technical guy here at Sterling, put a lot of time in, Kevin, so we could try and give a quality broadcast tonight.
Paul does an outstanding job. Sterling would not, I don't think it would run without Paul Mays from a technical standpoint. Really hooked us up today.
So again, we're getting set for action between Haddonfield and Sterling. Both teams come in 1-0. As Kevin mentioned, even though Sterling beat Triton 35-6, that's a team that's struggling. Pleasantville, a pretty good team, gave Haddonfield a pretty good game at 14-6 last week.
They did, and Pleasantville's a team that's been up and down over the last few years, but most recently, last year, were very good. Played Haddonfield tight during the season. Haddonfield played them a second time in the playoffs. It was a tight game. Haddonfield pulling away at the end. But I think the one thing about Sterling, when you're looking at what they did in that Triton game, they can't make the mistakes they made in that first half against the Haddonfield team. Haddonfield's the type of team that's going to make you pay for it.
Yeah, and when you look, John, when you go back and look at that Triton game, even though we won, it was definitely not a perfect game for Sterling.
It definitely wasn't. They were very lucky that it wasn't, again, a very big team. That, again, Triton's still a very good team, but it's not a Haddon, your West Deptford teams that would make you pay for all those penalties that you got.
And I think a lot of it, Kevin, is going to be early on in the game. Can Sterling have a ball-sustained offense attack? Can they not make a mistake? And Sterling comes out on the left side of the field. Here come the Knights. And they have to play close to a perfect game tonight.
They really do. And I think the kids realize that. They're the type of team that can throw the ball, no question about it. I know Coach says that's one thing in football you always want to do, no matter how much you can open it up, is establish a running game, impose your will up front. And that's definitely what they're looking to do. But don't rule out the fact that they've got a quarterback in Jeremiah Thompson that can really air it out, and they can go deep, they can go up top for the big play.
You saw Haddonfield just took the field as well. They took the coin toss already, as they do in the Colonial Conference. They actually do it before the teams take the field. We are going to stand for the national anthem here in a minute or so. As we mentioned, a beautiful night for football. I mean, it's very comfortable. These guys are going to love it playing out there on the field tonight.
It's amazing how this year has been in the early part as opposed to a couple years. I remember the game we did at Haddon Township. It was close to 100 degrees.
Very hot.
A lot of teams didn't even play that weekend.
So Andrew will give you some of the shots of what's going on, and we'll listen in for our national anthem now.
Our national anthem.
All right, Andrew, if you hit record, we'll start this broadcast. Andrew?
Thank you very much, Mr. Janney.
Andrew, if you hit record, we'll start the broadcast here.
Great band.
And we welcome everybody to Haddonfield High School, where the second game of the 2019 season set to get underway here on Channel 19. I'm Tad Kosneski, along with Kevin Schulz and John Hallwood, set for Haddonfield on their home field, 1-0 so far. They have a win over Pleasantville. They're the defending champs of Group 2, #1 in South Jersey last year. Sterling trying to pull the upset, coming off a win off Triton. And Kevin, we mentioned to our live audience a little earlier, Sterling going to have to play what amounts to a perfect game.
They really are, and I think, in trying to get the kids to believe that they could win this game, coaches showed them video of when Sterling beat Haddonfield 2 years ago in that game at Cherry Hill West. And, I really think it's a situation where you've done all the hard work. Right now, it's on the players. It's basically tantamount to them to basically have the attitude that they can do it.
Looks like Haddonfield's going to kick off. They'll be in the red uniforms, kicking off from our right to our left as we'll slowly zoom it in. As Sterling is taking the field, they are in the white. You see the referee to the right. He'll be where we'll start with the ball on the right side. So I think if you're Sterling, Kevin, I think this is where you want to be. You want to get the ball first and see if your speed and your offense can do something.
Absolutely, yeah. Establish what you want to do here. And, again, you want to get off to a start where it's a mistake-free start, not like what happened last week. Last week, you can kind of make mistakes against a lesser Triton team, but definitely cannot allow that to happen tonight.
Jack Cutter to kick off for Haddonfield. Trevon Potts back to receive. And Shane L. Beautiful night for football. Glad you're with us live on YouTube. We're recorded on Sterling TV 19. As Haddonfield set to kick off from the near hash mark. We mentioned Potts and Shane L. back to receive. And week number 2 is now underway. You're going to get a returnable punt here for Potts from his own 10. Cuts it across the middle of the field. Gets across the 25-yard line. Pretty good return on the play. He's tackled on the play by Stephen McLean. As Sterling will take over 1st and 10 behind their sophomore quarterback, Jeremiah Thompson.
Yeah, Jeremiah Thompson did a real nice job last week in his first career varsity start, having a couple touchdown passes to Mike Estremera, and really doing a good job feeling confident in the pocket and extending the play, getting away from pressure.
Richardson lines up to his left. Schulz goes in motion. Another man goes in motion. Give it to the man in motion. That's Williams. Williams trying to get an edge and not able to do it as he is planted in the ground for a loss. Tackled on the play by Michael Carey.
And that was a real nice play by Haddonfield, scraping the linebackers to the outside, getting a lot of bodies out there. And that's one thing early on here, very quickly I'm seeing that's familiar from the way they did it last year with getting a lot of bodies, gang tackling, getting to the point of attack, and neutralizing a team that has some speed on the outside.
2nd and 11. Man in motion, left side again is Williams. They are ready for it. When I say they, I say Haddonfield. There's a wave of red shirts there. Maybe a half-yard gain. It's going to be 3rd and long.
And this was the type of defense that we saw them really use against Pleasantville and Camden, who had the backs that could get out in the open. And, again, Haddonfield's doing a good job neutralizing Sterling, getting out there in a hurry, and really not allowing Sterling to get upfield.
Will Thompson have to throw for the first time in the game? He is back. It's a screen pass, and that one goes nowhere as Haddonfield was all over that one. It was intended on the play for Williams, and that'll bring on the punt team.
But there's going to be there's a flag on the field.
Oh, it's defensive holding. Good pickup there, John.
Defensive holding.
And not too many Haddonfield fans are very not happy with this call.
So, yeah, because it would have brought the punt team on.
And that's a break early on, obviously, for Sterling because Haddonfield just read that right from the get-go. I mean, they were right there, weren't fooled a bit.
The defensive holding, Kevin, was flagged about where the collision was for the pass. So it's going to be 3rd and about 1. So now that at least opens up the playbook that much more for Sterling. And, Kevin, if there was ever a first down you needed on a first drive, this is it right here.
Yeah, because Haddonfield, you say dominate, it's that early in the game, but really dominated on those 3 plays from scrimmage, the first 3 plays.
Lone back in the backfield is Richardson. The give is to Richardson, and he goes on second effort. He's going to get it. He was met at the line of scrimmage by Sean Labrie, but a great effort to get the first down.
Boy, that's Jameer Richardson is a kid who really excelled in the weight room. He's got a lot of lower body strength, and you really saw Tad on that run. Getting to the left side. Again, Haddonfield got to the point of attack, but Richardson got the extra yards on the sheer strength of his legs.
Under 10 minutes to go, first drive of the game, we have no score. Back to pass. Decent amount of time, gets it off near side of the field. It is complete. This is Johnson. Johnson pushed out around midfield. It will be enough for a first down. He's pushed down the play by Alex Kadar, but a second first down of the drive.
Yeah, and you saw Sterling last week go to the passing game, but really go more to the run, but they were able to go up top to Mike Estremera for 2 big plays that resulted in scores. Only passed about 6 times, but this is a team that can really spread the field and keep teams off balance, and that's what they were able to do right there and getting the first down.
Jacob Johnson, one of the few seniors in the lineup. Thompson, the quarterback, a sophomore. The running back, Richardson, a sophomore. They send the man in motion as Williams. He hesitates. Rolling to his left is Thompson. He is in trouble. He is going to be sacked on the play by Owen Breen, a sophomore. It's going to be a loss of about 11.
Well, that's the strength of this Haddonfield team, the defensive line. A lot of new guys up there, but you can see they do a real good job getting their hands up, using their hands to shed themselves to the offensive linemen, and they got right in there, had great penetration. You had 3 defensive linemen in there on Thompson. He really didn't have a shot.
2nd down and 20, under 9 minutes to go first quarter. Sterling has taken the opening kickoff, got 2 first downs. 2nd down and 20. Back to pass again. Down the middle. Has Schulz there. Schulz just can't quite catch up to it. He was covered on the play by Narducci, but he got through the safeties.
Yeah, they went down the field to Jason Schulz and went a little bit long. Not sure if there was some contact in the route, but again, this is a team that's going to try to go up top and are never at any time afraid to go for the big play.
3rd and 21 for Sterling. 8:19 to go here. First quarter, we have no score. 3rd and 21. Up the middle to the big man again, Richardson. Richardson going to get a pretty good amount of yards back, about 8 to the 48, now to bring the punt team on.
Well, not a great start in the first 3 plays, but the fact that they were able to get a couple first downs, obviously coming in here, I'm sure, we've got a lot of guys who are first-year varsity stars, a little nervous early on, but I think you have to feel like, confidence of getting first couple first downs there might translate in them doing better the next offensive possession.
Your quarterback is the kicker. Batson picks it up. Nice open field tackle. And thrown down at the 20-yard line is some great job early on. I believe on that tackle there, Kevin, was Shane L., who's got a tremendous amount of speed.
Yeah, and that's Shane L. You're going to see him a lot of times on special teams, both coming up in coverage like he did right there, doing a good job breaking down and making the play. Also tied on the return team. Shane L., one of those ones with a lot of speed. He really runs the ball right up the gut. Tough kid.
Jake Narducci, the quarterback, last week threw for 51 yards, had 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Narducci also led the team in rushing with 62 yards. Kadar had the lone touchdown run, one of the 2. They had also a touchdown pass by Narducci. So 1st and 10 from the 21. 7:38 to go here, first quarter. From the shotgun, Narducci fakes it, goes far side. Nice catch on the far side by Garstowitz, I believe is the way you said it. Good coverage, though.
Yeah, that's a great play there by Mike Estromera. Of course, we talked about what Estromera did last week with the 2 touchdown passes, but he really does a nice job on the corner there, coming up, making a play, and only allowing Haddonfield to get a few yards.
2nd down and 7. For Narducci. They get their plays from the sidelines, do not huddle. That's Batson in with Narducci. Pitch it to Batson. Batson's got a lot of room, cuts it ahead across the 30, across the 40. One man to catch him, he can catch a block, and nobody is going to catch him, as that is going back 76 yards for a touchdown by Tommy Batson, and Haddonfield takes the lead 6-0.
Well, Tommy Batson is a kid who we've seen out here since his freshman year, somebody you think very highly of. Once he gets that ball to the left side and gets upfield, showing a lot of speed, and he's gone for a big score for Haddonfield.
The blocking on that front line was amazing. He had about 10 yards of wide open spaces. Jack Cotter in to try the extra point now for Haddonfield, who leads it 6-0. It's going to be held by Jack Narducci.
And this is one thing, if you're Sterling, I always said to kids I ran into, something big happens early on. You can't let that affect you the rest of the way. You got to come back. And at this point, everybody's got to want to make a play.
Sophomore Jack Cutter in for the extra point. Line drive kick. It is no good. 6:46 to play here in the first quarter. Haddonfield leads it 6-0.
Andrew with a few facts.
Thank you, Mr. Parsons.
And Andrew, you can stop recording for us here. Can you tap him that he can stop recording, please?
There will be an action tomorrow morning right here at 10 a.m. We hope to see you there.
There you got the message. Okay, for our live audience, we will continue. And Kevin, it's gut check time. This is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's what Haddonfield does. I know last year they come up with we had the big play early on. They came right back and had a big play. I think it's a matter of how you're going to react in this situation. So, that's what I know the coaches are looking at right now.
If you zoom in on our Sterling huddle over there, Andrew, you'll get a good look at the body language so far. Let's hope that these guys can hang in there. as it is 6-0 Haddonfield. We have 6:46 to play here in this first quarter. So let's welcome back our audience here, Andrew. Tad Kozineski, Kevin Schulz, John Hallwood back here from Haddonfield as they go on a touchdown of 76 yards by Tommy Batson. And for Batson, that's his first touchdown of the season. But as you mentioned, Kevin, we've seen him in the past.
Yeah, he's a kid we've seen since his freshman year. Just come in late in games then, but you could see the skills he had from the running back position. Once he gets to that next gear and turns it on, and he really gets going.
Potts and Shane L. back for Sterling. Cutter to kick. Looks like it's coming Shane L's side this time. He'll drop it at the 8, pick it up. And he is going to be fortunate to get to about the 16-yard line where he is thrown down on the play by Glenn Foley, Jr. Yes, he is the brother of the two guys that graduated last year.
They got another one to contend with, and great job in coverage. I mean, that's how you do it. You stay in your lane, you converge, and that's how you stop a kid like Shane L., who's very quick, but you stop him as a team by just closing in on him, not giving him a lot of open field.
From their own 17, 1st and 10 for the Silver Knights. 6:38 to go first quarter. Haddonfield leads it by a score of 6-0. Back in the set field, and it's Jameer Richardson. Give it on the play now to Williams. Williams gets around the corner for a yard or two, and he's stopped on the play by Steve McLean.
That's that play going to that left side that Haddonfield has been able to really get a lot of activity from their linebackers, showing a lot of speed, a lot of ability to shed blocks, and Williams basically went out there and had a wall of defenders.
Good shot of the Sterling Huddles. This play is run in about the 6-minute mark of the first quarter. Knights trail at 6-0. They need ball-controlling drives in this game. And they have the running backs to do it. It's just amazing how quickly these linebackers are pursuing for Haddonfield. Man in motion delays. Handoff. Again, not much room on this one for Jameer Richardson. Maybe give him a yard. He's tackled on the play by Tommy Batson.
Yeah, and I think the key here is for this defense is the way the defensive line is controlling the line of scrimmage. One thing you always say, get your hands on the offensive linemen. They're doing that and allowing the linebackers a lot of room, a lot of lanes to make plays. And you also have, look like Batson, a safety, coming up there and making a play.
3rd down and 6 for the Silver Knights. See if they'll let Thompson throw it deep in his own territory. Send a man in motion. Again on the delay. He does want to throw. Pursuit is on. Gets the pass off, and it is knocked down as a weak side hit drilled him from behind. That was Drew Hutchinson, a junior, that came in and got him hard.
Yeah, so far, any type of a drop that's more than 2 steps, you're seeing that Haddonfield defense. We talk about how well they stopped the run going to the outside. They're also having great penetration into the offensive backfield of Sterling.
It's amazing when you roll to the right and they're able to beat you from the weak side. Very impressive.
Yep.
Here's Thompson in to kick.
Haddonfield's going to get great field position.
Yeah, they're waiting back at midfield for it here is Batson and Kadar. Nice high kick, fair catch for Batson. And he'll sit on it at the 50-yard line where Haddonfield will take over 1st and 10 with 5 minutes to go here in this first quarter. And let's see what the Sterling defense can come up with changes here, because that last touchdown run had a lot of room.
Yeah, well, the pressure's really on. I mean, the momentum is 100% right now on the side of Haddonfield with the big play, with what they were able to do on the defensive side of the ball and just completely shutting down Sterling. And now Sterling kind of with their backs against the wall, not really going that far, but just when you look at the explosiveness of this Haddonfield offense, getting the ball at midfield.
From midfield, 1st and 10. And a flag flies. And back to the original line of scrimmage. It's going to go against Haddonfield and cost them 5. So that's his second penalty of the game against Haddonfield.
Yeah, and that was one thing they said last week against Pleasantville. Obviously, Haddonfield came away with a win. but had some penalties. And that's what you're going to see when you have a lot of first-year varsity starters with Haddonfield here. I mean, off to an impressive start, but you're still going to see some of these types of penalties that gradually will go away as you're 2, 3 games, 4 games into a season.
It's going to be 1st and 15. Lone back is Foley. Back to pass Narducci. Going deep. Good coverage there. They tangle feet. I think that's a good no call there. It's a pretty good defensive stand-in there by Shane L.
Yeah, good job by L staying right with the receiver.
And you could see, Kevin, as he saw the ball was up, he turned and looked for the ball, and that's why you're not going to get pass interference on that.
Yeah, and that's one of those ones, a good no call by the official.
2nd down and 10 for Haddonfield. 4:49 to go first quarter. Haddonfield leads at 6-0. Again, the signals come in from the sideline. They all check their wristbands to know what's going on. Narducci from the shotgun. Sends a man in motion. Here's Kadar. Near side of the field. Nice job to get in the backfield. Trayvon Potts, a sophomore, beat the block, a loss of a yard.
Nice job by Potts, but taking on his block and making a play.
Not to mention, he was down on the play and quickly got back up to get number 7.
So that puts him at 3rd and 16. And if you ever needed a play early, you got one there. Sterling needs another one here.
Yeah, this is a big 3rd down play right here. And again, this Haddonfield team always has the ability to go up top for the big play, and that's what they got to look out for.
Over center this time. Foley the lone back. They fake it to Foley. Narducci. He is going to be taken down, sacked for a loss as he's taken down by Stephon Johnson. A loss of 5, and it'll bring on the punt team.
Yeah, if there was a strength of this Sterling team last week, it was what they were able to do up front on the defensive side of the ball, and you saw the defense right there come up with a big play, and that was a great job of a pass rush, closing things in, not allowing Narducci to get away and get to the outside.
Estremera and Grace go back. Yulin into punt. Sterling, with a decent return, should have good field position here. They play return. Short kick. It's going to go about the 45-yard line. Gets a Haddonfield bounce. And will die at about the 36. For our taped audience, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Sterling trails at 6-0. So Sterling gets the break there. And now we'll take over in pretty good field position. Just got to find something offensively that clicks as they set the ball. We'll welcome back our taped audience here. Tad Kazaneski, Kevin Schulz, John Hallwood.
Yeah, look for Sterling to go probably, if they do pass, something with a quick 2-step drop, just simply because of the way Haddonfield's been able to gain penetration.
Here comes Potts. Potts backing ahead for 2, maybe 3, where Cater in there on the stop. And Batson. But at least it's something positive. Early on, not many is positive. You get 2 or 3 out of that, and that's okay.
Yeah, a couple plays we took to the outside. We didn't get really anything positive. You just had a wall of defenders getting to the outside.
2nd down and 8, we'll call it. Under 3 minutes to go first quarter. Sterling with the ball. They trail it 1-0. Or excuse me, 6-0. I'm thinking baseball. Sorry. I'm in baseball mode. 6-0 your score. Man in motion, delays. Handoff with it here. Robertson back at the original line of scrimmage as the red shirts beat him again.
Yeah, it's just been a dominant effort here early on by this defensive line. You know, we talked about what the defensive line did for Sterling and getting in on Narducci, giving him a spark. The defensive line of Haddonfield really has been a big factor here throughout this first quarter.
A lot of the names we've called so far, all sophomores. The quarterback, Thompson, is a sophomore. Richardson, who just ran that, is a sophomore. You had Potts, number 5, a sophomore. So, again, this is a Sterling team building for the future, and a big play here on 3rd down and 8. And they may have gotten Haddonfield to jump. Nice hard count by Thompson. I think this is offsides Haddonfield.
Yeah, good job there by Thompson and everybody being disciplined.
Yeah, it's going to cost Haddonfield 5. This will make it 3rd and 3. And already I want to tip my cap to this officiating team, unlike last week, who took forever to make a call. They made the flag, made the call. That's the way you do it. Well done. Third down and a long 2, almost 3 for Sterling.
But a makeable third down.
Absolutely.
That's, what the penalties will do for you.
2 wide outs to the near side from the near hash mark. Man in motion. Give it to the man in motion. Trying to get around the edges. Potts, and he is not going to get around the edge. He is going to lose a yard or 2. Tackled on the play by Michael Carey. They just can't get the edge right now, Kevin.
No, and that was one area where they thought they'd have enough speed to get to the outside, but really have not been able to do that.
Thompson in to kick, sending back Batson and Kadar. Return is on. This is a short kick, too. This is going to bounce about the 45, and it takes a Haddonfield bounce. When you're a struggling team, you see it in punts right there. Haddonfield got a bad punt. They get a positive bounce. Sterling gets a bad punt, gets a negative bounce. And on that kick covered 4 yards. And we have a little discussion going on as the flag was down. It's sitting at the 50-yard line as we zoom in on the officials with the white hat there on the right side of your screen. Let's see what we have. Holding against Haddonfield. That is going to be a first down. That is the 3rd penalty of the game, and that's huge. That's the 2nd resulted in a first down. Now, again, was it on the return? Maybe that's what we're looking at.
I think
here.
it's on the return. Yeah, It's going to be. They're going to still have the ball, but in any event, they're definitely taking a chunk away from a lot of the momentum that they've been able to establish on the defensive side of the ball with what they've been able to do up front.
All right, so it was on the return, so it will be Haddonfield ball. So what would have been about a 4-yard difference in field position now ends up, they end up walking off 10 from the spot, and from where the ball went out of bounds, it's a difference of about 13. So you can't say Sterling hasn't gotten some breaks early on, because they have.
I mean, that's really
40-yard line.
put the Haddonfield offense in a tougher spot. Or obviously, they were looking at field position in Sterling territory.
From their own 40, 1st and 10. Batson. Batson is off again, a first down, and thrown to the ground by Shane L. after a gain of about 13.
Boy, great job of Batson reading of what's in front of him. And Tad, when he gets into the defensive backfield, you see him 2 yards into the run, and he's like a jet getting 6 yards into the run. Hits that extra gear.
Under a minute to go, first quarter. Haddonfield with the ball. They lead it 6-0. Now in Sterling territory, 1st and 10. Batson. Again, this time he's tripped up after a gain of about 4. In the general area there was David Barber.
And Tad, to stop Batson, you need a type of penetration into the offensive backfield that you're seeing from Haddonfield in Sterling's offensive backfield. Because once Batson gets upfield, he's one of those guys that's a threat to score from any point in the field.
2nd down and 7 from the 45. Batson in the backfield, Foley to the left. Quarterback, I believe, held it. Yeah, the quarterback did hold it. That was almost disastrous for Haddonfield, but able to jump on it was Nasir Bell and a host of Sterling Knights. And that is going to do it for the first quarter of action here from Haddonfield. Haddonfield leading at 6-0. You're watching high school football on Sterling High School, TV 19. And for our live audience here, we talk to you here live on YouTube, watching across the world. Hope you're enjoying tonight's game, watching the Haddonfield Bulldogs, who were the #1 team in Southern New Jersey football of all groups last year, taking on Sterling. And so far, if you said you get out of the first quarter down 6-0, I think you take it.
Yeah, and this is a big third down play right here to start out the second quarter, with the defense needing to come up with a stop. Offensively, Sterling's got to figure out how to make something work. Obviously, anything past a 2-step drop,
it's not going to work.
Gaining penetration, and it's not working at all. But anything to the outside is not working. I'm sure at some point, if you see some passes, you're going to see something. The 2-step drop variety or a quick throw out to the outside.
Contact the Haddonfield Police Department for reserved tickets through our latest speed trap.
Ted Kazneski, Kevin Schulz, John Hallwood. Bring you all the action here on Sterling Football on Sterling TV 19 and live across the world on YouTube on our Sterling TV 19 YouTube page. It's 3rd down and 8 for Haddonfield as they switch sides of the field. They'll go left to right now.
And this is a typical situation where Haddonfield likes to go up top for the big play at midfield, 3rd and fairly long.
Narducci is back. He's looking. He is going deep. He's got a man there, and it's defensively knocked down. What a great defensive play right there. As Sterling reaches in to make the play, that was Jihad Cook Graham.
Wow, what a job by Graham right there, making the play, staying step for step. And Tad, we've seen enough of this Haddonfield team. We know that that's something that's a signature play for them. 3rd down at midfield, going up top, tried it, and Sterling, again, defensively was equal to the task.
Yeah, we've seen them enough, so much that Mr. Schulz almost called that play right here. Punt team is in. Sterling standing back at their own 10-yard line. Kick going far side. Sterling going to let it bounce. Takes a big Haddonfield bounce again. I think that was the right move to let it go, but it's going to die at the 5-yard line. But the defense does the job again.
Yeah, they do the job, and this had the look of a game where you felt like it was going to get away early on with the run by Batson. But 2 straight weeks, Tad, we've seen the defense really turn the tables or neutralize things here, I should say. Not so much turn the tables, but did that last week against Triton and have kept this Sterling team in this game with 11:42 remaining in this second quarter.
Sterling literally has had their back against the wall. This is the deepest they've been in their own territory. From inside their, we'll call it right at their own 5, 1st and 10. Richardson in the backfield. He's standing on the goal line. Man in motion. Ball is loose, and that's the last place you want to lose the ball, but jumping on it there was Thompson.
And just as that happened, I know Haddonfield, again, from watching them, when they have you deep in your own end, don't think that the second man in on a tackle isn't going to try to strip the ball. They're always looking to make a play. And, that's never more the case than the situation right here with 2nd down deep in your own end of the field.
11-14 and counting until the half. Sterling with the ball. They trail it 6-0. Richardson now standing a yard in the end zone. Send the man in motion. Give it to Williams. Williams does get an edge, runs into his own man, and Richardson still pushing ahead. He's going to get about the 11 or 12-yard line and a gain of about 6.
Not a bad job. Not exactly sure what they did or how they did it, but what they did do was get penetration into the defensive backfield, and for the first time tonight, Tad, they cut off the flow of the linebackers to the outside, and Williams was able to get outside with his speed and get upfield.
10 minutes, 30 seconds and counting. First half. Sterling with the ball, trailing at 6-0. It's 3rd down and 4.
Definitely an easy pickup for Sterling here.
Man in motion stops. Back to passes. Thompson gets it off. This is up for grabs. Has a man there, and it's complete. I don't think that was the man it was intended for, but it was caught by Williams nonetheless, and it's a 1st down.
I think we got a break there, Tad, but we'll take it. Good job of Jeremiah Thompson under a lot of pressure, just getting rid of it. And fortunately, got it to the right jersey, so we'll take it. Good job of Sterling doing what they have to do right there to get out of a situation where they really had their backs against the wall.
And that's one of those plays, if it goes the other way, could just about end this game early on. Big play for Sterling. They go up the middle with it as Richardson. Richardson pushes ahead almost to the 35 and a gain of a little more than 3. It's the little things, Kevin, that add up, and your sophomore quarterback Thompson was able to buy just enough time.
Yeah, and Tad, another good run by Richardson. I can't stress enough. We look at John there. We can't stress enough the job that Richardson does in after initial contact, getting like 2 and 3 extra yards, just showing a lot of strength in that lower body.
2nd and 7. Here's Richardson again. Now check it. The quarterback's going to keep it. Should have given it to Richardson as they're going to lose about 3 yards. In there on the tackle was Michael Carey.
Tried to catch Haddonfield off guard with a bootleg, but Tad, that's one thing that Haddonfield is very good at, and that's being disciplined. Stayed right where they needed to stay. Very rare that you see them lose containment.
8 minutes, 39 seconds and counting. First half. Sterling faces a 3rd and 9. They trail at 6-0. Thompson wants to throw. Fakes by 1. Still on his feet. Gets it off. Overthrows everybody. Good job on the fake. That's trying to come in there, and the sack was Carey. Got him to go up in the air, and that'll bring the punt team on.
Yeah, that was impressive. We've seen Thompson a couple times. I mean, the one I point to is that touchdown pass last week where he rolled a little bit to his right, shook off a defender, extended the play enough to give himself time to get the ball for a touchdown. And Mike Estramayer, and right there, he had a nice little nifty move that allowed him to plant his feet and get the ball away. But nobody was open. That was a good job just getting that to where nobody could get it.
Thompson, a booming kick here beyond midfield. Going with it is Batson. He's dangerous. Nice open field tackle by one. Jason Schulz, the senior, going to give Haddonfield the ball just about midfield.
Good job, Jason Schulz, coming from the center snap position, getting downfield and getting the lower part of Batson before he got going upfield.
Yeah, that's a good point. Jason is the long snapper. He came up there and made the tackle. So Haddonfield will take over. 8:13 to go here in the first half. Haddonfield leads it by a score of 6-0. They'll get it from their own 49-yard line.
Haddonfield's had outstanding field position throughout this game.
Everyone shifts. Over center is Narducci. Batson the lone setback.
This is going to be a run play, I think.
And it is. Here's Batson, runs into traffic, and throwing him down was Stephon Johnson. Stephon Johnson in there, Gavin Clark in there. Big pursuit by that defensive line. Lost a 3.
Tad, I'll tell you what, as this game gets going, I'm looking at a defensive line that's getting more and more confident. They were able to get in Narducci on the pass play in the previous set of downs, and right there, outstanding job in gaining penetration and getting the Batson before he's able to get upfield.
Gavin Clark is a big young man. He started JV basketball last year, went to varsity, and was a force underneath. Alex Kadar now in as the setback. 2nd and 13. Man in mode. Fake it to Batson. Option now with it is Kadar, and gets by 1. And then thrown out of bounds, and be careful on that. Shane L., and there's your flag. And I hate to say I agree with it, Kevin, but I agree with it.
Yep. Yeah, you got to let up. In this day and age, boy, you go a little bit extra, and that was clearly out of bounds. And Haddonfield's had a lot of penalties that hurt them, but, boy, that's really going to hurt Sterling, Tad, especially after having Haddonfield stop and putting them in what would have been a 3rd and fairly long situation.
Yeah, it would have been 3rd and 8 from the 48 of Sterling. Now it's going to be a first down, and you're going to be down around the 30-yard line. If Haddonfield happens to score, that's the one that probably turned this game around, because from where we're standing, it was obvious contact was made out of bounds and then thrown to the ground. That's a killer.
Yep.
7:21 on the clock to go here in the first half. They'll put the ball down at the 33-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs.
Well, again, more pressure being put on this defense.
Kadar, the lone setback. Batson goes out wide, joins a host of Bulldogs out there. Narducci from the shotgun. Quick pass, far side. He overthrows Tommy Batson. They tried to get a quick screen. It'll be 2nd down.
Yeah, and you know what? A play like that tells me that Haddonfield's a little frustrated not being able to get Batson in the open field in the previous set of plays. And that plays a response to what Sterling has been able to do up front and gaining penetration. And they wanted to get Batson out in an open area and just needed to get that ball out there a little bit quicker to Batson.
Tommy Batson, by the way, just a junior, so has this season and one more. Haddonfield checks their wristbands. They line it up. They are ready. Kadar to the right, Foley to the left. Shotgun Narducci. Contact made and a tackle made as they get back the original line of scrimmage. Beautiful play there made by Gavin Clark.
Wow.
Gavin Clark.
I'll tell you what, if you see Gavin Clark in the hallway, he's a big young man.
He's a big kid, Tad, and you see Gavin Clark. One thing that sticks out, in addition to the strength, it's the quickness in short spaces, and I think you saw that right there. Had his arm around one and went to the other one that had the ball. Just an outstanding individual effort by Gavin Clark.
3rd down and 10, the original line of scrimmage now from the 33. 4 wideouts, 2 to each side. Foley, the lone setback, stands next to Narducci. Narducci is back. He's going deep. Has a man there. It's tipped and knocked out. A nice defensive play by Larry Williams, who just got his hand in the way.
And something that we have been able to see from this defense.
Great job by
from the defense.
8 right there.
Larry Williams in there, the junior guy, did a great job to knock that down. And let's see what Haddonfield wants to do on 4th and 10. 6:21 to go. First half, they are going to go for it. Split the wideouts, 2 on each side. Lone setback is Foley. The 4th and 10. Narducci looking, still looking, gets it off, and it's going to be short. And buried into the ground on a tackle was Gavin Clark, who just spiked Narducci in the ground, and a turnover on downs.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. Gavin Clark is a handful on that far side. And boy, Tad, you talk about slowly trying to turn the tide of this game. Again, we talk about what the defense was able to do right there with Haddonfield getting great field position after a penalty. The defense comes up big, gaining penetration, and doing an outstanding job creating havoc.
I think this game comes down to can Sterling score, because I think the defense has shown already in this first half they can stop Haddonfield. It's coming down to can Sterling score.
And a key play, I believe, on 2nd down with Williams providing coverage on the long play down the field.
Back to pass is Thompson. Across the middle has Schulz, who makes the catch. Schulz with a gain of about 25 inside Haddonfield territory.
And something that
great job of Jeremiah Thompson staying in there, getting the ball to Jason Schulz, and Schulz goes up high and gets the ball at midfield. A big first down, Tad. You talk about confidence. This Sterling offense able to get the ball past midfield has not had great field position all night. This is their best field position right here.
We'll let you go in a second here, John. 1st and 10, man in motion. Pitch it to Potts. Potts gets a block and gets about 2 or 3. And as you were saying, John?
I got it now.
Okay, I was going to give you a chance there.
Well, Tad, and the other thing we're starting to see right now is Sterling doing a good job of cutting off the flow to the linebackers to the outside. That was an area where Haddonfield dominated throughout that first quarter, early on into the second quarter, but that's the second of play where they were able to get the ball a little bit upfield.
5:15 and counting, first half. Sterling trailing at 6-0. Man in motion gets it. On the rush is Williams. Williams gets to about the 40-yard line. He's taken down the play by Stephen McLean. It's going to leave him 3rd and a little, maybe 5 or 6.
And this changes what you're able to do. You know, Sterling was getting in 3rd and really long, but this is 3rd and makeable on the Haddonfield side of the field. And Tad, you know, we talked about Williams, what he's able to do on the defensive side of the ball. I like the way Williams is running the ball. Something you saw last year, he'd run high, he'd run into contact, wouldn't get those extra yards after contact, getting a little bit lower, and now he's getting those extra yards after taking on initial contact.
3rd and 5. Back to pass is Thompson. He gets it off, has a man there, but incomplete, trying to get it to Brandon Grace. Grace was open, but a little bit long.
And good job by Thompson staying in there, taking a shot. I think that's one thing, Tad, we're seeing for both quarterbacks. They're really taking on contact on a lot of these throws.
All right, here's your first roll of the dice tonight for Sterling. 4th down and 5, almost 6. They are going to go.
And this is showing a lot of confidence in your defense.
So 4th and 5.
He's going for this on 4th down.
Back to pass. He has some time. Going deep. Estremera. Oh, off his hands. Estremera had a hand on it. That was a pretty well thrown ball. Estremera, a little disappointed in himself, but a pretty good effort at a play at 4th down.
And Thompson took a big hit right there, but that was a great throw. Pretty good coverage on the outside. And Estremera and Thompson are two kids that really like to get together on big plays, and you almost saw it right there. Almost an outstanding catch by Mike Estremera, and Thompson threw that ball exactly where it needed to be in tight coverage.
4:21 to go here, first half from Haddonfield. Haddonfield with the ball. They lead it 6-0. Haddonfield, the returning champs of Group 2 and the #1 overall team in South Jersey. And right now, Sterling is playing with them. They're hanging. Batson the lone setback. He has a 76-yard touchdown run. That's been difference in the game thus far. Pitch it to Batson, far side. Gets by 2 men, pushes ahead to about the 45-yard line where he's tackled by Cook Graham.
4 yards on the play.
As we go back to Sterling's last drive for that 4th down, I saw Thompson very slow to get up. I don't know if he's seriously injured or just questionable for the game right now.
Yeah, not sure, John, but he took a big hit right there, and that's one of those ones where you're staying in there making that throw. You know you're going to take a hit. Thompson, the sophomore, is a tough kid.
Jaden Johnson warming up on the track throwing is running right into Dylan Jess, the junior, and a gain of about 2 to leave it 3rd and 3. All right, on the sideline, I can see Thompson is standing there with his coaches. He does have his helmet in his hand. Now he's walking away from the coaches towards the 30-yard line. So I don't know, Kevin. We'll see. Now one of the other coaches comes over to talk to him.
Well, 3rd and about 4. Yeah, I think, again, I wouldn't be surprised, again, if Haddonfield tried to go up top. You know, Sterling stayed with them and has had great coverage. And you see right here, they're going to go across the middle. And
that was it. There's your flag flying. That was Michael Estremera that wouldn't let the receiver, Gasterkwitz, come in.
Anytime you take it on contact there.
Yeah, they tried a slant play inside, and Estremera just did not give ground. So that's going to be defensive interference. Pretty good call. We could see that clearly from where we are here. So that will move the chains with 3:05 to go here in the first half. Haddonfield leading at 6-0. I think if you're Sterling here, no more points going into halftime.
Now that's got to be definitely a goal of the defense, and the defense has come up big for the most part throughout this half, especially in the second quarter, and they're under pressure right now with Haddonfield getting the first down, getting in Sterling territory.
1st and 10 in Sterling territory. Here comes Kadar. Kadar still on his feet, and he is brought down. Nice tackle. Shaynell does not get cheated when he tackles players.
Yeah, Shaynell is your safety that basically is like an extra linebacker coming up there. One of your better run stoppers from that position in the conference. Was all conference last year, led the team in tackles, and he's really got a lot of speed coming up.
2nd down and 6 for Haddonfield. 2:37 and counting, first half. Haddonfield leading at 6-0.
The big thing about that, though, is you want to make sure you're disciplined, because Haddonfield always likes to go to that play action if they can suck somebody up on a run, on a fake run.
Batson the lone setback, 2nd and 6. Send a man in motion. That's Kadar. The middle with it is Batson. Batson met at the line of scrimmage. There'll be no gain on that one. Leading the charge, Gavin Clark.
Yeah, the defensive line right there. And what I like that they're doing, you know, these Haddonfield backs do a great job running, staying low, but Sterling is hitting and wrapping, because a lot of times you'll see these backs, they start out inside, bounce off somebody, get it to the outside, and make a big play. But Sterling's doing a nice job defensively up front, nullifying that.
Well, you know this is going to be 2-down territory as we hit 140 and counting in the first half. It's going to be 3rd down, and they call it about 5. Batson in the backfield with Narducci. Narducci from the shotgun. Sterling backs off in the secondary. They'll give off a short pass. Narducci looking to nowhere. He was looking for Batson, who stopped, but the ball was thrown 5 feet to his left. So now it's 4th and about 5.
And Tad, you know, we've said a lot about and focused on what the defensive line's been doing, but I don't think we've talked enough about the job Sterling's done in coverage. You know, you saw a couple different plays with Williams, Shane L., Mike Estremera doing a good job, really taking on what they learned and kind of honed in those 7-on-7s defensively.
4th down and 5. Again, I don't know if Haddonfield's going to take a timeout, and they do. So Haddonfield takes a timeout. 1:20 to go here in the first half. We will take a break. Haddonfield leads at 6-0. I'll tell you what, Kevin, I'm very impressed with this Sterling defense in all phases right now.
Yeah, you saw what they did last week, and Tad, you know, you make a stop here. That's where you go into halftime believing that you can do something. You know, you talk about getting over the hump and coming in against the Haddonfield team that just has that mentality that's beaten you the last couple times. They stop Haddonfield here. They've got to feel like they can do something here. It'll be interesting to see what happens moving forward, and the condition of Jeremiah Thompson.
The difference, to give you an idea of how tough this is for Sterling. Sterling in the last 17 meetings has only won 4 times. They are 4-13 against Haddonfield. He's had their number, but we'll see what happens today as we'll get ready to bring our audience back. A huge 4th down play here with 1:20 to go in the first half. 4th down and 5. Send a man in motion, and your 2 men on the far side started. You can ring up Unlin and Batson. Both went on the count, so 5 yards back, and now it looks like Haddonfield will go to the punt team.
Wow. Boy, so uncharacteristic of Haddonfield. A lot of the penalties. Tad, I go back to a younger team playing, and they're the mistakes that you see from some first-year varsity players, and it's really hurt Haddonfield in this first half.
Unlin in to kick. Grace is back on the far side. High snap. That was a big catch. Grace going to run up, not able to get it. Takes another Haddonfield bounce and is going to die at about the 9-yard line. It's amazing, as every bounce on a punt is going Haddonfield's way. So I think if you're Sterling now here, you want to try and run some clock.
Yeah, you're happy going into half with a situation where you're only down by 6-0.
But you
because
can't
the way
turn it over.
This game started off with the big play. How many times, Tad, have we seen a big play just snowballs against this Haddonfield team against you? And give credit to this Sterling team. They've hung in there tough and have done a nice job neutralizing this Haddonfield offense.
1st and 10. Richardson push. Now they're going to pass across the middle, and it's picked off. That is exactly what Sterling did not need, and this has a chance to go back, and it is in for the touchdown. Mark Leprosido on the interception and the touchdown, a 28-yard interception, and it's now 12-0. Well, I guess Sterling wasn't thinking like we were, Kevin. They went for a big play that wasn't there, and unfortunately it burned them.
Yeah, and that's what Haddonfield does. You know, they come up with big plays on offense, but we've seen many times, like I said, they also can do it on the defensive side of the ball.
Narducci going to hold. Cutler going to kick, and that is a killer interception. Sterling had all kinds of defensive momentum, and that just absolutely kills you. Snap is low, and taking him down is Larry Williams. But 55 seconds to go in the first half. Haddonfield leads it now 12-0.
And something about the extra point, missing extra points, can actually really affect you. Because if Sterling gets 2 great drives, they can easily be ahead right now.
Again, it just depends on coaching philosophy, Kevin. I mean, I think you and I were on the same page in that. You're against the defending champs, the #1 team in South Jersey. I'm happy 6-0.
Being down 6-0.
But a lot of coaches and successful coaches, you don't have to go far with the Eagles. to say, hey, we're here to take something. So they rolled the dice, and unfortunately, I think you hate to blame. You have a young quarterback back there, and it's very hard inside your own 10. And again, unfortunately, it's just a bigger hole you got to dig out of.
And I still think, though, you've got to feel good about some of the things you've been able to do on the defensive side of the ball, and that's what you have to carry and focus on in halftime.
Tuesday, the 17th at Grace Church.
Tech Kazanowski, Kevin Schulz, John Hallwood back with you here. Andrew Kane, our cameraman. Glad you're with us here on Sterling TV 19 or watching live on YouTube. Across America, you're watching the Haddonfield Bulldogs. They're in the red. They were the #1 team in South Jersey last year against the Sterling Silver Knights on the right. So Haddonfield into kickoff again. 55 seconds to go here in the first half, and Haddonfield leading at 12-0. Nice kick, far side of the field. Williams in a head of steam. Check that. Is that Shane L., I believe? Shane L., really good return. At the 37, and we roll around, and now a flag flies, and we'll see who this is against. If this goes against Haddonfield, it does. 15 more yards for Sterling.
And now, in the last situation, I felt like they probably should have taken it. Now, boy, this is a situation where you might want to try to get that last one back. And Haddonfield scored on the interception.
Well, the difference here, Kevin, I'm more willing to, if you're up by midfield, I'm more willing to take a shot.
I agree. With the field position, you're going to get off the penalty.
If you're,
you got to think of trying to get some of these points back, especially since you really haven't done a whole lot on the offensive side of the ball.
And that play they had on the last drive where they tried to go Estremera on the sidelines, that's a play that they're going to make, so they could make a play off that.
Certainly have the capability of coming up with a big play. Mike Estremera, a kid who's got a lot of speed on the outside.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 for Sterling, the 48-yard line for Haddonfield. We've got 47 seconds to go here in the first half. Haddonfield leads it by a score of 12-0. Estremera goes out wide to the bottom side of your screen. Lone setback is Richardson. They have 3 timeouts remaining. Straight back, slant play. Nice job just to catch that by Williams. Williams gets by 1, tackled by Batson after a gain of about 5. And Sterling calls time. We have a timeout, 38 seconds to go. First half, Haddonfield leads at 12-0. Good play call there early on, guys.
Yeah, Tad, that was the play call I think that was needed because you had Jeremiah Thompson really taking a lot of hits on those rollouts and 3-4-step drop, 2-step drop, get them back there, get rid of it, and get it upfield. Obviously, Haddonfield probably playing a little bit looser in a prevent situation with now 38 seconds left. Take what the defense gives you right there. Put the ball in Williams' hands. Kid who can turn around and possibly get a run after the catch.
I have Sterling with 2 timeouts remaining. And again, they have a chance here. It's just you got to be careful. It's just a shame that interception right now. If they can overcome it with the touchdown, they could erase that, though, so we'll see. So we have 38 seconds to go here in the first half. Sterling trailing at 12-0. They've got a 2nd down and 9. Wide out to the far side is Grace. Send a man in motion. That's Johnson. Looking his way. They get it to Johnson, who catches it. Can he get out of bounds? No, but a nice throw and a real nice open field tackle by Alex Kadar.
Yeah.
And Sterling is going to have to spend another timeout. 26 seconds remaining. We'll return when action resumes. I'll tell you what, Kevin, that was a heck of a throw.
Real nice throw. And again, you're doing, I think, what you need to do in this situation. You're allowing Thompson to get rid of the ball quick. You're getting the ball in your playmakers' hands and giving them the ability in stride to get upfield. But that was just a great individual play by Haddonfield defensively. And, Tad, you get to a situation where, right now there's 26 seconds left. Would not be surprised to fake outside and try to go up top in the next couple plays. Obviously, with time running down here.
Ted Kazaneski, Kevin Schulz, John Hallwood back with you here on Sterling TV 19. And we welcome everyone watching live across the world on YouTube. Sterling needs a big play here. Who is going to step up here? Again, I like Estremera. If they can buy some time for the quarterback Thompson, we'll see. It's going to be 3rd down and 3. Sterling has 1 timeout remaining. They've got 30 seconds on the clock.
And the more you get into this, more likely they're going to put an extra defender back there, not rush as much. So now, you might be able to have a play where you give Estremera maybe a 2-3 step drop.
And the ball had to be kneeled down on a missed snap. And his knees down. Sterling calls time. 25 seconds remaining. We'll return in a moment. So Sterling takes their last time out, and that's the kind of thing right there, Kevin, and that's what struggling teams do.
Yeah, you basically leave yourself without an opportunity right there. Now put yourself where you got one last opportunity right here.
Well, we get a chance. Want to give a shout out to Coach Wiley, checking it out right now, watching us live on YouTube. You can give us a shout out here if you would.
Watches a lot of our games. Hunkered in there.
Said he's enjoying sitting at home watching the game tonight. Good luck to the Knights.
Lanoletto, we got a text from him. He's out there.
Hope you're enjoying
TV 19 land.
Hey, I also want to thank our technical advisor, Paul Mays, for helping us set with the stream here. And he's done a great job, and we really appreciate it. So 25 seconds remaining first half. This is a 4th and a long 5. Estremera wide to the near side. He's got 1-on-1 coverage.
Yeah, and you got Richardson. Looks like they're going to keep him in there to block.
Looking Estremera's way all the way. Down the sidelines, he's open. He catches it. Estremera's in for the touchdown. Sterling scores with 18 seconds remaining.
And Tad, that shows you the big play capability. They tried, and finally got Estremera open down that left sideline and get a huge score. And this is a Sterling team that's going to go into halftime feeling pretty good about themselves after a big touchdown throw by Jeremiah Thompson to Mike Estremera.
There must have been really bad communication between the Haddonfield's defense because he was left entirely wide open.
They started with man-for-man coverage, and the defender let him go. Here comes the extra point try. Dylan Jess. This is a big extra point. It is not good. 18 seconds remaining here in the first half. Sterling on the board. They trail it 12-6.
Boy, not sure what happened there. I think there had to be a little bit of miscommunication. Mike Estremera, a kid with a lot of speed, but he was wide open. I think that might have been a situation where they thought the safety was going to come over for help and wasn't there.
Well, the way Sterling lined up, they had 2 wideouts to the near side. Both had man-for-man coverage. And like you said, the man on Estremera acted like, oh, I've got him short, but there was no safety behind him. That was it. And not only is it, they were going to Estremera the whole way.
Yeah,
there was no doubt.
And, Tad, obviously, we don't have replay, and a lot of times, and these guys between Thompson, Estremera have done a lot of work on their passing game. Tad, a lot of times when you see that, you don't see a safety come over. A quarterback will look to the right side. That'll either freeze the safety or make him take a step the wrong way, and that could have been a reason why Estremera was so open down that left sideline.
18 seconds remaining here in the first half. Sterling on the 45-yard touchdown reception by Michael Estremera. The extra point was not good. So all things considered, after the interception that was run back by Haddonfield, we've got a game. This is where you can't allow any kind of return. Jess in to keep kickoff. It's a big bouncing kick. One of the upbacks takes it at the 30, and he is swallowed up, literally swallowed up on the play. I believe that might have been Shane L1 again. He is everywhere.
Boy, it closes in on a ball carrier, whether it's a back coming from the safety position or in the open field in kickoff coverage, as well as anybody.
So Haddonfield
Shane L.
has 14 seconds on the clock. They'll take the ball from their own 35. They lead it 12-6. Sterling's defense, a little bit of confusion. They're going to run off Barber off the field. Lone setback now is Kadar on 1st and 10. Actually, they're in the eye. Check that. Up the middle, Kadar. And he goes nowhere. In there on there was Rashad McQueen, who had that big play last week. And Haddonfield says, no mas. We have played one half of action here from Haddonfield, and we've got a heck of a game going. 12-6, Haddonfield leads it. We will be back with the taped audience in a moment. And our live audience, we will stay here, talk with you a little more, and we'll let our cameraman Andrew bring you some of the pictures. And Kevin, what a difference 3 or 4 minutes makes.
Wow. And, you know, as coaches, you preach to your kids. You want to tell them, hey, we've got a shot, we've got a shot. But I don't think you can truly make them feel that way till they actually do something and prove themselves. And I felt like in this first half, there were a lot of ups and downs, and they really fought their way through it. And, boy, this is a ball game. We've got a ball game here.
So you see the Knights coming off the field. They now trail it by a score of 12-6. They were down 12-0 as they are coming off now. And John, a very impressive comeback there by Sterling.
Definitely. Yeah. And Sterling fans cheering them on. Sterling fans know this is a really big win for them in the first half.
I think, Kevin, we talked about this before. If you said, hey, we're going to the half down 12-6, I think they'll say, yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah, no question about it. And just the way, like you said, Tad, you hit the nail on the head, the way things transpired in that last couple minutes with the touchdown off the interception. And for Sterling, in addition to what they were doing on the defensive side of the ball throughout the first half, to fight back and get a score when that was an area where they were struggling, man, this is a team that's probably feeling as good about themselves as any Sterling team going into a half against Haddonfield in a while.
And the other thing that comes to mind, the only, quote, mistake besides, well, the interception, I should say, was a big mistake.
Yeah.
But the 15-yard penalty in front of us, besides that, all the mistakes are on Haddonfield's side of the field.
Yeah, the penalty's very uncharacteristic of Haddonfield. You had one penalty for Sterling that led to great field position, but Haddonfield wasn't able to do anything with it. But for the most part, yeah, Haddonfield wasn't able to really take hold of that momentum that they got from the Batson touchdown run.
Beautiful night for football. Sterling hanging in with them so far, trailing at 12-6. And again, for our live audience, we'll give you a chance to watch the Haddonfield band as they perform here at halftime. We'll be listening in for them in a minute here. But an impressive first half for the Sterling Knights. Again, we'll bring you the band here in a second. And, of course, we'll have the entire second half of action here, as they're set to perform any minute now. Let's see what they have to offer in this year's presentation. Again, I hope you're enjoying this broadcast no matter where you're watching this game. As we will now listen in to the band.
The Haddonfield Marching Bulldogs.
25 what?
25 off. Works every time.
Someone did. You come home. Oh, thanks. Man, these. Sad that they're being a little small. Yeah. It is, but
They got a guy on a stand. We don't have that.
Ted Kazaneski with you here live from Haddonfield High School. We are at halftime. Haddonfield had a 12-0 lead.
May we have a
Sterling
round of
able to make a
applause
couple
for the
plays to
marching
get themselves
Bulldogs.
right back into it. A great job there by the Haddonfield
The
band,
color guard,
as we've hit just
Riley
about a
Kirby,
capacity
Georgia
crowd here.
Wilson,
Sterling
Margot
crowd
Messman,
very excited into this
Olivia
one as we
Hilton,
get going.
Meredith Sims,
And we thank
Ryan
everyone
Bass.
at halftime for that couple
Thank
minutes.
you
That's a
very
chance
much,
that we get
Mr.
to
Janney and your crew.
look at our Twitter feeds and emails. We're having a good time responding to the people who are checking in with us, whether it be on Twitter, social media, through Facebook, or even people that know us personally. Is our cameraman, Andrew Kane. Andrew, why don't we get a shot of some of the crowd here, Andrew, on our side of the field? We'll give you, a real good crowd. The Sterling crowd is to the left side. You see them there. Interesting. It's so far a pretty exciting game, John.
definitely is. Again, not too many mistakes presented from Sterling, but a lot of mistakes, again, very uncharacteristic from Haddonfield, getting loads of not loads of penalties, but very big penalties, I should say.
They had some crucial times. Again, as you see the Sterling sidelines, the unique setup of this stadium here, unlike at Sterling, you have a home side and away side. There are no bleachers on the far side. So what you basically do, you have a Mason-Dixon line. The left side of the bleachers is Sterling. The right side of the bleachers is Haddonfield. And that's what we're looking at right now. So again, we're at halftime. They show about 6 minutes on the clock, but no team ever comes back when they're supposed to at halftime. So we're going to talk a little bit with you throughout as we're buying you some time. As you see, there's the school there behind in the middle side of your screen. And there's the turf field. And, John, it's been a pretty interesting week for us broadcasting. If you talk about some of the games that we broadcast so far this week on Channel 19.
Definitely been. We broadcasted the volleyball game, the soccer game. Very unlucky for the boys soccer to lose against West Deptford. But again, a good win against for girls volleyball, coming 4-1. So definitely a lot of good news from all the fall sports so far.
Yeah, again, they've done a good job. And, again, this game coming in, you have a Haddonfield team, which was number 1 in South Jersey last year. They won Group 2, obviously. They were undefeated. Sterling, as we mentioned, over the last 17 times these two teams have met, Sterling has only won 4 of the 17, and their last win was a couple years ago when they didn't play on this field. They played the game at Cherry Hill West in a game that Sterling played extremely well. They won that game 37-19. This is one of those games. If Sterling can somehow find a way in this one, it really sets the tone for the season.
Yes, definitely. Again, beating a last year's champion says a lot for a team. It sets a really high goal and really puts a target on your back in a way, because other teams say, this team beat the number 1 team. This is a team that we might have to worry about later on the schedule.
Sterling is scheduled next week with Haddon Heights at home. We'll have that game live for you on Channel 19. And a new feature that we've developed this past week, not only will we be live on Channel 19 on cable, we'll also be live on our website, which we've been doing. We will continue to broadcast our games on YouTube live. So next week, for our people at home, you can sit at your smart TV and watch the game live on YouTube. As we're watching some field goal tries here on the field, as getting one through off the crossbar. That's a 40-yard kick off the foot of Jack Cutter. He's a sophomore, so you're seeing some of the action on the left side. Now we go back to the right side with Cutter. Cutter's lining up for a 40-yard field goal here. And in a game like this is a game that, that field goal could come into play.
Oh, definitely. And seeing him make these pretty long field goals, and that one goes through easily.
Yeah, so, you could say that's a 40-yarder. He definitely has the range, and if you're a Haddonfield fan, you got to like what you see there, because if it comes down to a kick, you look like you have a guy who can do it. And you were talking, you mentioned something to me about the moon tonight. What's going on with the moon tonight?
It's the harvest moon. It's micro moon and the full moon all at the same time on this Friday the 13th.
Ooh.
And this only happened back in 1837.
And, Andrew, if you pan right and kind of go up to the sky, you can kind of see the building the way right. You go a little more right, Andrew. That's left, but that's okay. Go to your other right. There you go. You see the building and the clouds, and you look up to the left of the building. If you go left now a little bit, go left and up a little bit, you'll see where the moon would be. You can see the clouds kind of separate some of the clouds there, and that's somewhere back there would be that moon.
And also, it won't come back until 2525.
We won't be around.
No.
We'll be long gone.
Yeah.
But this broadcast will live on. I will give you a shot of the school here, Andrew, now. One of the neatest schools in South Jersey. You see the scoreboard and the school there as we kind of come back into frame and focus here. Really nice place to watch a game here, John.
Oh, definitely. It's a nice view, nice school.
All right, let's go on the field here for a second. The kicker at the 40-yard line, he's going to try a 50-yard field goal, and the crowd's it's like our halftime entertainment here. Let's see what Cutter can do here. Cutter's going to try. This is 50 yards if he can make this one. Here we go. And probably not enough. I'll tell you what, though, from 45, John, he was able to make it from 45.
And that's, again, for a high school kicker, that's really good and definitely a very good weapon if it ever comes down to a field goal.
And he's only a sophomore as well, so he's got some years behind him to go, in front of him, I should say. The officials always make it back to the field on time. We've got about a minute on the game clock. The teams never, ever make it back to the field on time when it gets to 0. It never happens. So far we have referees. We've got the kicker's going to try another 50-yarder again. Let's see if he can get this 50-yarder going. Here we go. More of a drive, just a little bit short. But I'll tell you what, he's not too bad. The crowd.
Yeah.
Now to your left, here come the Sterling Knights, and they have got to be on cloud 9 right now. Oh, there's that moon. The moon's peeking out now. If you look right again, Andrew, if you look right in the sky, you'll see the moon is peeking out now. That's that moon we were talking about.
All right, we are approaching
There
that
you go.
dramatic moment.
And what's that moon again you got there? Explain that again.
It was a full.
I
I believe it was a full moon, a micro
Take
moon.
home $300.
No, it's a harvest moon, a micro moon, and a full moon all on the same day for Friday.
For right now, that's what you're looking at. It's just peeking in. A cool shot. It's over the school, peeking in on top of the clouds.
And I want to thank my sister for giving
All
me
right,
that
we have
fact
our ticket.
for today.
Knowledge kicking in by your sister. So what's her first name?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, good
If you have
job.
a ticket that matches this, 690.
So a beautiful night here for football. We're getting ready for the second half. Will be coming in a little bit.
669.
Sterling doing everything they need to.
That's
Kevin
for
Schulz, our announcer, is
$300.
running for mayor in the other booth. He's talking to the basketball coach. We'll welcome him back in a minute or two.
When does he not run for mayor?
Let's see if we can get him. Oh, here, he's going to put the headphones on. We're going to welcome back Mayor Schulz. We were just saying you were running for mayor as we were entertaining the people throughout halftime.
Yeah, no, all good. Always have a good conversation with Paul Wiedemann, our
All right, then,
boys
winning
basketball
number
coach
again,
at Haddonfield. He does a great job. We were talking about what's upcoming for those guys this year. Wow, what a first half, man. Tad, there was so much that went on in that first half.
We think we have
it's
a
tough
winner.
to really kind of bring it all together, but
And she made a
you
very
know,
generous
and we were
purchase of
talking
tickets.
over there, in a weird way, you had the interception and came back for the touchdown and going by 12, and then you come up with the big play after that. You were hoping they'd take a knee and run out the clock being down 6-0, but what transpired, I think, obviously gave Sterling
Let's see, we're having
even
a
more momentum
conference.
going into halftime. You saw these guys walking off, and this right now is a Sterling team. And not sure what's going to happen the rest of the way, but right now, halftime, these kids believe that they can win this game.
All right, so Andrew, you have to give us a shot of the moon in the school right now, and we'll bring our audience back here. So once you get the moon in the school, hold it right there, Andrew, and hit record, and just hold it there for a second. We'll bring it back.
Liz, do we have a winner?
Sorry.
We do
Well,
have
we
a
welcome
winner.
everybody back on Friday the
here
13th
is
with
that
a full moon going on. So this is one of those
winning
crazy
team
days.
in the
Friday the
past
13th, the
has
full
won
moon is on. So Kevin, anything can
50.6%
happen here on Friday the 13th with the full moon going.
You
If
nailed
you
that one,
believe
Tad.
that,
I
we'll come up with another
didn't
number.
even realize that. Look
Well,
at
there
that.
you see it.
Great shot.
The full moon
By our-
over Haddonfield as we'll slowly zoom out now. And
Cameraman Andrew Kane, who was down with the crowd, and my bad, I didn't bring the duct tape. We have medical tape holding our tripod down to the stand. So,
I'm sorry.
and if you twist medical tape, little tip at home, it becomes a lot stronger, and you can use it for a tripod. Now that I said that, our tripod's going to go over, and our camera's going to get busted to pieces.
So we are just about set for third quarter action. Now, Haddonfield is going to get the ball first. Haddonfield leads at 12-6. But as we mentioned, it's a strange night here. Anything can happen on Friday the 13th. What's that moon again, John, that we have going on here?
The harvest moon.
And when's the next time we're going to see this combination of harvest moons and all these other moons? Listen to this one, Kevin. The next time this moon at this phase will appear. John?
25.
Is the next time this is going to happen.
Okay. Good
How
job.
old would
That's,
we? We'd be a good 500 years
John
old.
learned that in science class, right? They got into a little bit of astronomy.
No, it was actually from my sister.
John, give your science teacher a shout out. Who's your science teacher? Just give your science teacher a shout out.
Well,
John, give your science teacher a shout out.
Who's your science teacher?
Parker.
All right. Good job. Good knowledge
Okay.
by them. Here's Dylan Jess to kick off. Second half underway. Real nice kick. This goes far side. This is Batson. He's dangerous from his own 10. And a nice open field tackle. Who else? Shane L. Shane L has made every open field tackle on special teams.
You know, Tad, I always say I like a kick returner that runs up the middle. I think now we've got to try to run away from Shane L. Wherever side of the field you see Shane L on, just go the other way. But, boy, he's just been a beast.
From the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 Haddonfield. Just underway, second half. Haddonfield leads at 12-6. Glad you're with us, whether you're watching us on tape or watching around the world on YouTube. Kadar will line up near side. He started in the backfield. It's going to be a shotgun now for Narducci. He's the lone back. Send a man in motion. That's Kadar. Quarterback going to keep it. Narducci finds a hole, and he gets out to about the 29, and a gain of 9 on the tackle with Shane L.
And, Tad, I think they're going to put this in Narducci's hands in the second half a lot more because coming into this game, that's one thing we heard about Narducci, a senior from the quarterback position, is that he has an ability to get out in the open and make things happen with his legs, and it looks like that could be the direction that they're going as we start off this second half and move forward.
Narducci was their leading rusher last week for 62 yards. It's 2nd down and 2. Man in motion. Tailback going to take it. That's Kadar. Kadar is going to get the first down by about a yard. Stop there on the play by Gavin Clark, who's had a good day.
Yeah, Clark's been all over the place, doing a great job fighting off linemen. Showing a lot of quickness in there.
It's going to be 1st and 10 across the 30 from the 31. 2 wide outs each side. Narducci from the shotgun. Narducci looks at the sideline, gets another call from his coach Delano. 1st and 10. Man in motion. Give it to the man in motion. Kadar finds a hole, and nice hard tackle again.
Yeah,
Shane L. Now the difference with that one is he made contact on the field and started taking him down.
That was a clean play. But again, Tad, you can see there's going to be a lot of plays where Narducci has the opportunity to make things happen himself or hand it off, and Sterling was overkeen a little bit on Narducci, let that option go out to Kadar to the outside. And right now, that's where Haddonfield is having success, something they really didn't have throughout that second quarter in their running game.
From midfield, 1st and 10, Batson. Jess rides him for a gain of about 9 as he hit the hole quickly.
Yeah, you can see, when you get that first down to start out the second half, that kind of re-energized that entire offense, the offensive line, the backs, and right now, Haddonfield offensively is feeding off that.
Give it a gain of 8, 2nd down and 2. 9:37 to go here in the third. Haddonfield with the ball. They lead at 12-6. Batson the lone setback. Batson up the middle. First down and a gain of about 7. Tripped up on the play by Johnson, but a gain and a first down at the 36.
Yeah, doing a job running the ball up the gut right now. And again, that was an area where Sterling in the second quarter dominated with that defensive front.
1st and 10 from the 36. Bulldogs on the move as we near 9 minutes to go in the third. Haddonfield up 12-6. Batson in the backfield has a run of 76 yards for a touchdown in this game on 1st and 10. Batson tries to get around the corner. Nice job from behind to make the tackle by Nasir Bell. Nasir Bell, just a sophomore.
Yeah, good job of Bell getting to the outside, and you're seeing Haddonfield cutting off the flow to linebackers to the outside, much the way Sterling was for a point on the offensive side of the ball in that second quarter.
Again, Kevin, that was actually Jacob Johnson. His 2 looked like a 7 because his shirt rolled up. So credit Jacob Johnson on that last tackle.
And Haddonfield is getting a good push up front.
2nd down and 5. Man in motion. And Narducci gets by one, but does not get by another. He manages to gain maybe a yard as Clark and McQueen in there.
And Tad, when you look at stopping that option, it's assignment football. You have somebody who's there to cover the quarterback. Somebody gets the immediate running back on the dive. And you have somebody covering a pitch man if you have that situation. You have to be disciplined against this option.
3rd down and 5. Kadar in the backfield. This is Kadar. Blitz is on. Sterling there by 1. He gets to about the 30. It's going to leave him 4th and about 3. So Sterling got a little tired of the activity and ran a blitz right up the middle.
Yeah, good job kind of neutralizing things, not allowing Kadar to get into the open field.
Not that they would do it now, but in halftime, for our live audience, Jack Cutter was consistently making 40-yarders. He made a 45-yarder, but on this one they will go on 4th and 4.
Yeah, look for him. Got a 3 wide out set on that left side to exploit that.
Batson is back, but he's looking near side, and he is going to be sacked. The ball comes loose. They say he's down. Sacked by Gavin Clark, who is having a career tonight.
I think it's time to double team Gavin Clark off that left side. You saw the quickness, and he just threw aside the lineman and got in there on Narducci, and Narducci didn't have a chance.
Narducci was fortunate that he fumbled it after he hit the ground. Haddonfield as a whole very fortunate because Clark tattooed him. Sterling will take over. 6:52 remaining in the 3rd. They'll take it over at their own 40-yard line.
Well, that's the benefit of having those stops when you had the ball deep in your own end. When they had the 2 first downs and got the ball in strong territory, that was just like anything they had before, and they came up big again.
Richardson to about the 42-yard line as he jumps over one of the Bulldogs. Leave him 2nd and about 8. Actually 9, we'll call it.
And Todd, I always say in any situation, when you come up with that big play, I think that's going to go a long way in loosening up that defense. You know, there were times where they had the safeties come up as run stoppers like those extra linebackers on Haddonfield, but don't think they're not going to hesitate now a little bit after the big play up top for 6 to Mike Estramera.
2nd down and 9. Man in motion is Johnson. Johnson gets by 1. Look out. Johnson is going to lose that much more as he's going to lose about 7 yards. Finally put in the ground by Tommy Batson.
Well, that's that penetration we saw from Haddonfield. Really a lot in that first quarter, and they're able to get back to it there. And when you're able to get into the backfield right there, that play never had a chance from the start.
3rd down and 17. We have 5 minutes, 40 seconds remaining, 3rd quarter. Sterling leading at 12-6.
Now here's the big decision. Are you going to give it to Schulz or Mike Estramera right now?
Estramera will line up wide to the left side. They slide coverage his way. Thompson is back. He is going to be drilled. As coming in on that sack there was Brandon Collins. So Collins on the sack. He's a senior, and on comes the punt team.
Yeah, Tad, they went with a blitz on the near side, and it looked like on the far side had a delayed blitz, and Sterling just didn't pick that up, and that's a big play there by Collins to force Sterling to punt.
Kadar and Batson go back to receive. Sterling in to kick about their own 15-yard line.
Thompson really took a big hit with that play.
Thompson with a high kick. A fair catch is called at the 40-yard line. So Haddonfield will get the ball with 4:48 remaining in the 3rd. Haddonfield leading at 12-6.
Some of the other sideline sponsors.
Well, you've got to like the way Sterling, after Haddonfield reeled off a couple first downs, came up and made a couple key key plays. Obviously, no play bigger than what Gavin Clark was able to do coming from the far side to get the sack on that 4th down play for Haddonfield.
From the 40, 1st and 10 Haddonfield. They'll take over 4:48 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. They lead at 12-6. Foley now lines up to the left of Narducci. In the slot goes Batson, far side. Here comes Batson right at us. Now he's going back. Quarterback Narducci keeps it, and he is going down on the play by Clark. The ball is loose. Let's see who has it. No signal. The official says 2nd down. Sterling thought they had the ball. It's going to be a loss of 6 or 7.
I'm going to think that they're just going to try to do something. Any plays right now is going to have to be away from Gavin Clark because he's just dominating this game on the defensive side of the ball.
We have an injury timeout. 4:27 to go in the 3rd. Haddonfield leads at 12-6.
That would have been a huge break.
And 2 major players injured, actually. Shane L. and number 7 for Haddonfield.
Yeah, and I think it's both the same thing. They both cramped up on that play. Boy, I'll tell you, this coming out party of Clark today, he is playing amazing. You just, as you mentioned, Kevin, you better find his number and run away from him.
Yeah, it's
good luck, dogs.
He's dominating, and he's dominating. I think the way that the coaches have told him, hey, you have the ability to take over a game, and it's great actually seeing him going out and doing that. Especially in this second half.
He is just running people over, running over blocks and running over offensive players. Is now coming off is Batson comes off, and as we mentioned, Sterling's player comes off as well. They'll be off for 1 play. Look like just cramping.
I'm mentioning fumbles again. McQueen with that last game's fumble recovery for a touchdown, too.
So the clock will run now as the injuries are off the field. 4:20 and counting in the 3rd. It's 2nd and 16. Can definitely feel the Haddonfield sidelines a little uneasy right now. Narducci wants to pass. He's looking. Gets by 1, and he is going to be thrown down on the play by Dylan Jess. That's going to be a loss of almost 10 more. They just can't block him.
And Tad, there's been times you saw Dylan Jess make a great play right there. Throughout this game, we've talked about the great job the defensive line's done. We've talked about the great job they've done in coverage in the defensive backfield. That was just great team defense. You had the coverage, not allowing Narducci to get to that first look, having to scramble to the left side, and the defensive line picked it up. Dylan Jess coming up with a huge sack.
3rd and Warwick Road coming up for Haddonfield. Officially 3rd and 26.
I think that was their 3rd sack this drive.
Sterling has been very much in the backfield of Haddonfield. Taking a long time to get this play in. Shotgun. Back to pass. Going deep. Has a man there just a little bit long for Caden Yunlin, and that'll bring on the punt team.
Boy, Yunlin got separation on that far side. One of the few times they've gotten open deep. And again, that's a trademark of Haddonfield, always trying to go up top to break the defense. Just threw it a little bit long.
This is one area we really haven't seen much on a return for Sterling. Here's a chance as we see Grace goes back and Esther Mara goes back. Esther Mara's got some elusive moves. Big punt coming up for Haddonfield deep in their own zone. Nice high kick. Esther Mara wants a fair catch. And he takes it at the 43-yard line. So Sterling will take over from their own 43 with 2:59 to go on a full moon, Friday the 13th, here from Haddonfield.
Very different than the way that first half went from a field position standpoint, Tad. A lot of the field position was on the Sterling end of the field. We've primarily been from 40 to 40 for both teams in this second half, in this third quarter.
1st and 10 from the 43. Schulz goes in motion, opposite slot. Another man in motion. That's Johnson. Johnson takes it, gets a block. Across midfield. Johnson has a shot. If he can get a block, he's going to go out of bounds at the 22-yard line. A gain of about 30.
Again, Sterling on the play to the outside does a nice job neutralizing the linebackers. That's something that early on, consistently, Haddonfield was able to get a great push, a great flow to the outside from the linebackers to safety, and really were able to get upfield. And Tad, I go back to the big play. I think, where you were a safety coming up as a run stopper in that first quarter, you're going to hesitate a step when you know you've got the capability of a big play. And Sterling's able to get upfield. Great job by Jacob Johnson hitting that second gear, getting upfield, getting a big first down deep into Haddonfield territory.
We have an injury timeout, 2:48 to go. Third period, Sterling driving. They trail at 12-6. A couple players down for each team. Back on his feet for Haddonfield is Michael Carey. He's a senior. I cannot see who is down for Sterling. Again, it's cramping. Excuse me, cramping.
Could be.
Against Paulsboro.
Oh, it's a Scholes.
Jason
All right.
Scholes. Okay, he's up.
He was one of the blockers leading the charge down the field. Again, it's cramping. You tell by the way that they're looking. They're putting the fluids in their mouth.
And you're seeing it from a lot of the guys who are playing both ways. And, early on in the season, that's something you're going to get. Trainer Sean Clank doing a stellar job, as always.
First and 10 on the
From the 24-yard line, first and 10 Sterling, trying to drive to tie this game up. Richardson driving by a man still on his feet, goes ahead, the sophomore at the 20, and a gain of about 5.
And this is a guy that it's really hard to tackle when you go up to face him.
And I would say if you look at his yards, probably 80% of the yards he's gained tonight have been after initial contact. Stays low. He's got that great lower body where he's got the drive, and he's just running over people. And don't think that as a sophomore, with each run, this kid's just going to get more and more confident.
2 minutes, 8 seconds to go in the third. Sterling driving. They trail at 12-6. Second down and 6. Man in motion. And taking it there is Potts. Potts maybe for a yard to the 19-yard line.
Yeah, Trey Potts, the kid who does a good job on the defensive side of the ball. And, in the third quarter and fourth quarter last week, you saw them kind of go to Potts. They were using a mix of Potts, Williams, Jacob Johnson, David Barber. But Potts had the hot hand last week and kind of finished things off in Sterling's big win over Triton throughout that fourth quarter.
You would think we're in 2-down territory. Third down and 5 for Sterling. Deep inside the territory of the Bulldogs, inside the 20. Man in motion. Haddonfield jumped again. That's the second time they did it, and they are going to be very close for the Knights to a first down.
Kudos to Sterling. I mean, that's a play a lot of times with a young offensive line. A lot of guys starting for the first time. You're amped up. You're going to jump. Everybody stayed. And, boy, Jeremiah Thompson, we talked about a lot of the great things he does. A couple hard counts have contributed to penalties and first downs, big first downs for Sterling.
Are you believing? 1:07 to go in the third. First and 10 from the 15. The big man, Richardson, nowhere on this one. He's lucky to get back to the original line of scrimmage. On the tackle was Batson.
Yeah, and I don't know that Richardson got a good handle on that ball. Looks like he was kind of trying to grab it, didn't have a good hold on it. And, that allowed Haddonfield defensively to gain penetration.
And Sterling has been really taking control of this second half so far.
Ball control for sure. Second down and 10, under 30 seconds to go in the third. Near side handoff. Can they get the edge? They cannot. A great open field tackle before I think a young man cramped up. I believe that was Carey who cramped up earlier. It's going to leave him third and about 13. Injury timeout. 10 seconds to go in the third period. We'll be back in a moment. Yeah, Kevin, once you get a cramp, they're very hard to shake, and that's the second time Carey's been down.
Yeah, we're seeing them being tended to over there. But, boy, that was a great individual play by Carey, because those plays to the outside, Tad, with Jacob Johnson going to the outside, or plays where Sterling looked to start to kind of break the defense of Haddonfield. But that's just a great individual effort by Carey, where Haddonfield really needed it. Again, they've been struggling to make those stops on the plays to the outside, something they did a great job with in the first quarter, but not so much here in the second half.
The last 17 times these two teams have met, Haddonfield has won all but 4. So it has been dominated by Haddonfield. That's why every play this goes and goes, Sterling becomes a believer.
82.
And this is where you have to, like right now, with 3rd and long, especially down by the end zone, the ability to throw the ball that Sterling has offensively with Jeremiah Thompson, Estremera.
3rd and 12.
So we come back after the injury, and that is going to do it for action in the third quarter. We played 3 quarters from Haddonfield. Will we be believers in the next 12 minutes? We'll find out. Sterling trails at 12-6 here on Sterling TV 19.
Sterling driving.
As we're back now only with the live audience, the cheerleaders showcasing their arms down there, throwing the footballs into the crowd. Well, Kevin, early on, this drive is the season early on. You're going to be 3rd and 12, 2-down territory. You're down 6. Got to come up with 2 big plays here.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised. One thing I think they had success with, Tad, is going with the blitz to one side and then going with the delayed blitz. That's where they were able to get the sack against Sterling at last set of downs.
This could be Haddonfield's kryptonite. Friday the 13th on a harvest moon.
Tad Kazaneski, Kevin Schulz, John Hallwood. As John mentioned, a full moon, Friday the 13th. It's 3rd and 13. 2 wideouts to the near side. Man goes in motion. Look at this snap. And we get a flag. I'm pretty sure they did not want to do that. It'll be false start against Sterling. That's one of the craziest snaps I've ever seen.
Yeah, you'll take the 5 yards and get this.
That's almost hard to do. That ball went about 15 yards straight in the air. So now a 3rd and 13 becomes a 3rd and 18.
Yeah, not a bad, it's really not that bad a thing when you're this deep in Haddonfield's end of the field, because it actually gives you a little more room to work with, if you're going to go for a bigger play.
3rd and 18 from the 21. They can get a first down inside the 5. 3 wideouts near side. Estremera, the wideout. Back to pass is Thompson. Pressure on. Gets it off. It is caught. Going with it is Williams across the 15. At the 15, he goes down. And another Haddonfield player has cramped up. That might be Alex Kadar. It's going to leave him 4th and 12.
Yeah, that's a nice job of Jeremiah Thompson. He was really being chased down and got a hit from that far side.
We have an injury timeout. 11:38 to go. A big 4th down play coming up when we return.
Williams is looking a little hurt, too. He's kind of holding his arm up a bit.
Well, there are Haddonfield players cramping all over the field. We just saw on the sidelines had a couple of them being worked on. Now they're on the field working on them. I'll tell you what, this is definitely a different night here at Haddonfield. There's that moon is up above the...
No question about it. It's just an exciting game. I mean, Ted, you talk about back and forth football, and one of the aspects I like, really from both teams, you've seen times where the Sterling's defense have struggled in certain aspects of the game. When Haddonfield's been able to get to the outside, then they come back and make a play. Haddonfield did a great job defensively early on in the plays to the outside. They struggled early on in this half. Then you had a nice play by Mike Carey. Great individual effort coming up and making a stop.
It'll be 4th down, 14.
Under a full moon here on Friday the 13th. Can Sterling pull the upset? 4th and 13. 11:30 to go here in the game. They trail at 12-6. From the near hash mark, Thompson back, looking far side, still looking, rolling left. Gets the pass off, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Gaskowitz. Gaskowitz to the 15, but that's a play. It's worth a shot. Throw it up to the end zone.
Again,
what the
Thompson
heck?
under a ton of pressure. I don't know how he got rid of that. I mean, he turned real quick, and boy, that's it. With the way his body was twisted to get that even that much on the ball, and just to give yourself a shot.
So 11:14 now remaining in the game. Haddonfield will have the ball at their own 15, leading at 12-6.
And Tad, you talk about a team wanting to play winning football right now defensively. If I'm the second man on the hit, I'm still looking to make a play and jar the ball loose. Make something happen on the defensive side of the ball.
From the 15, 1st and 10 Haddonfield. Sterling's defense have been even to the challenge thus far. One man in the backfield. Give it to that one man. Stacked at the line of scrimmage after gain of 2 or 3. Trying to hold on to that one as they go through it. That was Ben Sook, I believe it is.
Yeah, Haddonfield looking to just gain some room. But again, you just defensively, and they've done a great job all night, although the last time Haddonfield tried to go up top, had the man beat on that far side. Got to watch for them going up top.
Batson back in the backfield as we hit 10:40 and counting. 2nd down and 7. Man in motion. Option. Narducci right up the middle. Nice open field tackle. Saves a 1st down. Is coming up to make the tackle was Shane L.
And someone that's been really good defensively right now this game is Shane L with making big tackles.
Made one there. It's going to be 3rd down and 2.
And that's the type of play we said we thought we'd see more of in this second half, and I think they've tried it, but we've had a few great individual efforts by Gavin Clark, and then, of course, Shane L coming up right there.
Under 10 minutes to play in the game. 3rd and 2. Batson behind the block. He will get the 1st down as he dives out to the 29-yard line.
Picks up the 1st down.
Clock will continue to tick once they set the ball.
That was Jacob Johnson making the tackle.
And that's a big 1st down by Batson, of course, having the big run for the touchdown in the 1st quarter. We saw what he can do in the open field. There was just some grit and determination, great toughness in getting that 1st down for Haddonfield.
From the 29, 1st and 10. Man in motion now coming our way. Narducci wants it all the way. Same play across the 35 to the 36 and a gain of 6. Stopped on the play by Shane L.
Yeah, and they tried to get Narducci. We talked a lot about him getting involved in that option play going to the outside. But right now they're having a little bit more success, I think, in this 4th quarter, using Narducci on that option going up the field. Really, he's got a quick 1st step and shows great acceleration going upfield from the quarterback position.
2nd down and 3. 8:45 and counting to play in the game. Haddonfield with the ball. They lead at 12-6. Second and 3. Batson this time. Batson is going to be close, maybe a half-yard shy of the 1st down. Leave him 3rd and about 1. Looked like on the tackle there was David Barber.
Well, your defensive line has come up big all night. And here's a big situation. And this is where, if you're going to stop Haddonfield, you've got to gain penetration into the backfield.
Quarterback keeper, they'll get the 1st down and more as they get out to the 42-yard line in a 1st down.
Yeah, and this offensive line of Haddonfield has definitely struggled at times with the defensive line of Sterling, but they really came up big right there and gave Narducci enough of a push to get that 1st down.
7 minutes, 50 seconds and counting to play in this game. Haddonfield with the 1st and 10. They lead it 12-6. Ball on their own 42-yard line. So far, it's been a lot of Batson and Narducci rushing for first downs in this drive here. This is Batson's turn. He is hit and brought down nicely on the play by Dylan Jess, but a gain of about 3.
That's a great individual effort. And you know, Tad, the more and more they keep this ball control drive going, the more and more they go a long way in wearing down that defensive line of Sterling. A lot of guys going both ways out there. And you can see right now, they're a little gassed.
7 minutes and some change remaining in this one. 2nd down and 7. Batson, nice read, cuts it outside, cuts it inside. Nice job. We're getting a flag, though, on the far side of the field. A flag at midfield at the 50-yard line. Let's see what this is going to be.
This might be holding against the offense.
It's usually an area where you see
there
holding.
It is. It is holding. Holding against Haddonfield. So this play is coming back. The flag was sitting at about the 48. That'll bring him back to around the 38. Or, yes, 38. So, again, Sterling catches yet another break in this game.
Yeah, because this is a Haddonfield team that basically, you know, from a running standpoint, ball control standpoint, is having their best drive of the night right now at a time when they need it to hold on to a 12-6 lead.
6 minutes, 56 seconds, and counting. It's a 2nd and 14. Haddonfield leads this game 12-6. Foley in the backfield with Batson. Foley's the fullback in this I formation. Batson goes in motion. They're going to pass, rolling to his left. Narducci looking. He's got some room. He's going to run this one. Narducci thrown down to the ground by Johnson, but a big gain there as he gets near the 50, and now a manageable 3rd and about 4 coming up.
And the most impressive thing I saw from Narducci right there, guys, was show and pass the entire time. And believe me, he was under a lot of pressure coming from that backside. What that did with him show and pass was freeze the defensive backs. They had to wait to come up and make a play and left a lot of room off to that left side.
If you're a believer in Sterling, they need to make a play here. 3rd down and 4, under 6 minutes to play in this game. Batson lines up next to Narducci. 3rd and 4. Man in motion. Narducci wants to pass. He's got a man far side, and it's dropped. Tommy Batson was open and dropped the ball. And now we have an injury for Sterling, so an injury timeout as the game will get very interesting now. 5:36 to play in this one. Haddonfield leads it 12-6. Boy, well, Kevin, you could almost sense the game going as that ball was thrown. Because not only was he open, he had a chance to score on that.
Well, Sterling's really – I'm looking at this play. They got to watch the fake. This is
I wouldn't be surprised if you go with a couple hard counts and even maybe take a penalty, like delay a game, try and call them off.
Absolutely. That's not 5 yards. It's nothing at this point of the field.
Again, you get a shot of what we're dealing with here on a full moon. We have 5:36 remaining. Sterling still has a player down on the far side. I believe it's this cramping issue. Again, now that player is up. 5:36 remaining. A big punt formation coming here now as we bring it back to the field. Kevin, interesting here, as mentioned in our break.
You got to watch the up backs, watch a fake.
Snap it deep. Line drive kick. It's going to bounce. Haddonfield's going to probably get to this first. Boy, almost touched by Esther Merritt. That's the last thing
you got to get away from that. Boy, you don't even want to.
That takes about a 15-yard bounce. And if Sterling's going to win this game, they are going to have to drive 90 yards to do it with 5:22 remaining in this game.
On the 6-yard line.
So now it's a matter of...
You said it, Tad. If you do what you just said, you've earned the win.
Yep, you're going to have to beat the defending champs by driving 90 yards. We'll call it 92 yards. 1st and 10. Sterling with all 3 timeouts remaining. Usually this is Richardson here. They start with Richardson. Richardson got loose for a second and got him almost 5 to
Wow,
about the
wow.
12-yard line.
Yeah, you're right, Taddy. Off to that left side, and he had some room if he got away from that linebacker. And again, as he's going down, he's taking people with him.
2nd down and 5 for the Silver Knights. We are now under 5 minutes to play in this game. Sterling down 6. Can they pull the upset?
Definitely would be a very big upset against a very strong Haddonfield at home.
Schultz shifts. The defense shifts. Man goes in motion. Give it to the man in motion. Looks to cut in. That play just has not been there tonight.
No.
That was Johnson. He has not made much yardage on that one.
Yeah, and that's a play where you line up the formation, strong left, and you go to the weak side, but Haddonfield just did a great job reading that and recovering and making a play.
So now it is 3rd down and 5, and what most likely, Kevin, with 4 minutes and 12 seconds and counting, I think you're going for it on 4th down now. Not much time remaining.
Timeout.
3rd down and 5. They're going to pass. Quick hitter far side. Estramera gets a block. Goes ahead, and he looks like is going to be very close to the 1st down. We'll wait for the official signal, and they are giving it to him. 1st down.
And, Tad, from the first time we saw Mike Estramera catch the ball last year, the one thing we were always impressed with was the way he turned his shoulders up and ran after the catch. And, boy, you saw it right there. And really had a nice, nifty move, and it gained a tough last couple yards to get a huge 1st down for Sterling.
The
to keep
clock
going.
is the problem now. Under 3:30 to play. Richardson finds a seam. He gets a 1st down out to the 34. Gain of 15. Whistles now stop the play. The ref got destroyed on that play.
Ooh,
Jeez.
Got caught. The umpire got caught right in the middle, grasping at his head.
Oh, man.
You hate to see that. We'll take an injury timeout. 3:23 to play in this one. Sterling trails at 12-6. For our live audience, we'll keep it here, Kevin, and explain where the umpire plays as he's officiating the game.
Well, that's unfortunate because you're right behind. You're right in the middle right there, and you have both teams that are going to the point attack, and a lot of times you'll get to a situation where you have nowhere to go to get out of the way, and I think that's what happened. Boy, he's up right now, sitting up, and that's a great sign.
He was in with a pile of players from both teams. See Mr. Klink, our trainer out there, the Haddonfield trainer out there as well. Again, I'll say it again. Compared to last week, these guys have done a tremendous job in this game.
Yeah.
As the umpire is back up on his feet.
All right.
I don't know if he's going to be able to continue. We'll see what they
Yeah,
decide.
that's great to see. And, boy, another outstanding run by Jameer Richardson.
So our umpire, who stands with the linebackers, is shaking it off. He's back on his feet. That can be a very scary situation amongst all those big guys in the pads, and he literally has no padding.
I saw Jameer Richardson talk to the umpire for a bit and probably just said, "Are you okay?" And
all right, as we move on, looks like he will be okay, and we're glad for that. 3:23 in playing. When the whistle starts, the clock will start. So Sterling's got to move with some urgency here. 1st and 10, trailing at 12-6. They wind the clock. They're going to pass. Looking, gets it off. This is touched, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Batson as one of the defensive linemen got a piece of it. Now a flag is flown. A flag flies back at the 45-yard line. Now, I assume this is on the return, Kevin.
Yeah, it's going to be Haddonfield's ball, but Thompson was hit as he threw the ball.
It was after the return, so the ball got returned to the other 30-yard line, Sterling side. The flag is sitting at the 45. You got to give credit to the Haddonfield defensive line is they tapped into Thompson, and that's what cost the errant pass.
Well, they've been putting pressure on Thompson all night, and he said they were trying to go up top.
Coach Delano went 15 yards on the field with the back judge. Did not like the call on the back. Now, this actually gives a slight chance to Sterling because now the ball's not at your own 30. It goes all the way back to Haddonfield's 30-yard line, give or take. Let's see. I'm going to say the 36-yard line. So unofficially, I have Sterling with 3 timeouts. So if you're Haddonfield, you're basically looking, if you can get 1 first down or 2, even better for them, the game's probably over. Sterling has to stop them right here.
And Haddonfield just has to go back to that ball control offense that works so well in allowing them to chew a lot of time off the clock in the early part of this fourth quarter. Definitely need it now.
1st and 10 from their own 36. Referee not ready yet. Now somebody just walks on the field. That was Unlin that just walks on. He doesn't know the play, so they have to tell him to play. Also coming over is Kadar. You would assume some form of a run, either Narducci or Kadar. 1st and 10. Sterling now running on Barber onto the field. He's a middle linebacker. Now we're ready. 1st and 10. Man in motion is Unlin. Narducci wants it himself. Gets by 2 men across the 40 and out to the 42-yard line. Clock continues to run. 2:52 and counting.
And give credit to Haddonfield. They tried different ways to get Narducci running into this offense. And didn't have success in the early part of the half, but have really found it in that option up the middle. He's really made the Sterling defense pay on that play.
You would think if Sterling could stop for no gain here, probably use a timeout. And this is a 1st down and more across midfield as Kadar goes to the 48-yard line after tackled on the play by Shane L. And now Sterling calls timeout. 2:23 remaining in this one. Sterling trails it 12-6.
If Sterling...
Stop. You can stop for a second there. You can stop. 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 All right, stop.
If Sterling gets practically stops Haddonfield, which probably will be a very low clock, probably in the minute 50 range if they stop them, maybe lower. It's going to be very difficult to get upfield with a minute. It's going to be very difficult if the Sterling offense comes back on.
And this is a worn-down defense, no question about it.
We have 2 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in this game. Sterling has just taken their first timeout. They have 2 remaining. Haddonfield with the ball on the Sterling 49-yard line, 1st and 10. Narducci in the backfield with Kadar. Both seniors. 1st and 10. Narducci wants it himself, tackled on the play by Bell. Sterling will call timeout. It's a gain of 1. 2:18 to play in the game.
Now, you absolutely have to stop, make a stop on these series of downs right here.
So another cramp on the play for Haddonfield, and Sterling still in this one. It's trailing at 12-6. 2:18 to play here in this game in a rivalry that's been a lot of Haddonfield lately. They won last year. Go ahead there.
I don't think it is a cramp this time. I think it's an actual injury. He's kind of in pain, holding his shoulder. It's definitely his shoulder, it looks like. His left shoulder, as they kind of try to move it, and he looks in a lot of pain.
Coach Frank Delano going over there, coming off the field.
Kevin, would you believe? I believe he said he's in his 19th season here.
Wow.
I believe that's what he told me before the game.
Yeah, I think he was hired here initially or 19 seasons as a head coach, hired initially as an assistant right out of college.
Yes, he was.
He's been here a long time.
That's Brandon Collins, a senior, down on the ground. And he is sitting up as we all get a little bit of a breather. Literally, the defense is actually a good thing for the Sterling defense.
I was just going to say that, Tad. You know, it's unfortunate for Collins there. You want to see him get up off the field, but for Sterling, it's a much-needed breather because that defense has been on there. You see Collins walking off the field. Collins has really had a nice game. Made a nice defensive stop.
Brandon Collins walking off the field, as you mentioned down there, John. It looks like his shoulder is his issue. So Sterling takes their second timeout. They'll have one remaining. 2:18 to play. Again, in high school football, there is no 2-minute warning. 2nd down and 9. Kadar in the backfield. Foley is the fullback. Kadar straight up the middle. And that should just about do it, as Kadar goes down at the 1-yard line. So Kadar with the run of about 45 yards, and that should just about do it.
Yeah, and I think that was a hard run by Kadar, and I think, you know, we always say in this situation, second man in, going for the ball, and probably you're going a little bit too much for the ball. And, of course, Kadar held on to it and got loose, and that's the one danger of going for the ball. But in this situation, you have to, is you kind of get away from what you need to do from a tackling standpoint, and Kadar takes advantage of it and puts Haddonfield in a position to seal up this game.
1st and goal. Quarterback Narducci looking to push ahead. No signal yet. Still no signal yet. So we're assuming he's shy. And again, that doesn't hurt Haddonfield anyway because the clock will continue to roll.
Yeah, and this is all about wearing the clock down.
As Sterling will have to take their last timeout. 1:23 remaining in this one. 12-6. Haddonfield leads it. Back with more in a moment. And as you mentioned, Kevin, a great effort for Sterling. Just couldn't quite get it done in the end.
It came up a little bit short, but you always, you know, a loss is a loss. But this is a team that I think, a young team that's made some strides. We talk about all the new varsity players just making strides against a winning program here, and they did a lot of good things. It's just a matter of taking it to that next level and doing things you need to do to finish off a game.
John, any thoughts real quick in this break?
I would say, I'm not going to say it's going to be a big loss. I'm going to say it's actually a very big win defensively and offensively, making big plays both offense and defensive ways.
Guys, so after the timeout, it's on the 1-inch line. You think we're in most likely quarterback sneak territory. 1:23 remaining in this one. If Haddonfield can get in, for all intents and purposes, that would end the game. 2nd and goal. Narducci pushes ahead, and Narducci does get in. With 1:21 remaining in the game, makes it 18-6, Haddonfield.
18-6.
So 1:21 remaining. They will line up for their extra point with Cutter.
Give credit to Haddonfield. They did what they had to do, established the ball control offense from the early part of this 4th quarter, and I think ultimately that's what really sealed the deal and allowed them to come away with a win tonight.
Cutter will take the extra point try. Narducci will hold. Line drive kick, and it is good. 1:21 remaining in this game. Haddonfield leads it 18-6.
And I think Sterling shouldn't take this too hard. There's been a lot of good, again, just throughout this game, and to keep it close against a very good, like a championship-winning team last year is keeping them down to very low scores, a very good thing, I would say.
I think the defense has done, for the most part, what they needed to do. Just offensively, they need a couple more plays to kind of make it happen.
And, you know, they had some big plays, but again, I'll go back to what Haddonfield was able to do in establishing ball control, establishing a ground game. I think that was the big thing that went a long way in wearing down the defense. And that's something Sterling really wasn't able to do. They had a couple big plays. They were starting to do a better job getting to the outside, but they never really kept that Haddonfield defense on the field for a long period of time like Haddonfield did to them in this fourth quarter.
53 on the field. Number 4, Grace.
The final 1 minute and 21 seconds of this one is it's 19-6. Haddonfield leads it. They will kick off to Sterling.
Number 6, Jihad Cook.
And if my memory serves me correctly, Kevin, next week Haddon Heights at Sterling, if I remember.
Haddon Heights at Sterling next week. Still a lot of season left.
I leave here encouraged. I hope the players
I agree
do.
with you. I agree. You know, there's definitely positives to be pulled out of this game and things to build on.
In the kick will be Cutter. Potts is back, as is Barber. Line drive kick. Will it go out of bounds? Shane Hill actually going to pick it up at the 15. Far side return. Nice open field tackle there. That was very well done by Kyle Garstowitz. Because it looked like for a second, maybe Shane Hill might find some daylight.
Yeah, and that's the way you basically do that. And Haddonfield's so good in special teams. I mean, I think both teams, for that matter, have been good on special teams with players coming down, staying in their lanes, and just doing what they need to do to neutralize a kid like Shane L with a lot of speed.
1:12 remaining in this one. As Thompson from the shotgun. Thompson wants to throw. Gets it off. Nice catch by Grace. Grace, nice possession receiver. Gain of 14 and a first down. Looks like an Edelman out there.
Yeah, Brandon Grace coming across the middle. Did a great job catching the ball with his hands. I always like that when you get your hands out there and catch it. Don't allow the ball to get in on your body.
1st and 10, Sterling. Back to pass again is Thompson running, gets this one off. Grace was a little too small on that one, but he was open. And now your quarterback is down.
Wow. Not good. He's been getting hit all night. Definitely has had a real tough night. And, boy, if there's one thing, another thing we're seeing from Jeremiah Thompson, we saw the skills last week. We're seeing that you're looking at a real tough kid out there. He's taking a lot of hits tonight, and he stays in there and makes throws when he knows he's going to get a hit. And I don't think that that's not one of the biggest things you need to be, one of the biggest ways you need to handle yourself when you're a quarterback.
Well, speaking of
sure
quarterback, who is
quality.
the backup quarterback?
I believe Jaden Johnson.
Jaden Johnson will say? Yes, Jaden Johnson, a sophomore as well. He'll come in as the backup. Final 51 seconds in this one. See what Johnson's got in him. Is he going to throw one?
Johnson can throw the ball. I've seen him in some of the scrimmages. Not a real big guy, but he can definitely throw the ball.
That's a fumble.
Yes, it is, and Haddonfield's going to take it, and that happens when you get a backup quarterback in there. So now all Haddonfield has to do, now a flag flies late. That's the last thing you wanted. Now another flag flies.
2 flags.
Definitely going to be unsportsmanlike.
You got to keep yourself under control. Obviously, this is a Sterling team that's frustrated.
Ooh, Haddonfield.
Well, okay. Offsetting, maybe?
Ooh,
okay, wow,
both
okay.
against Haddonfield.
Boy,
That's
I
very
spoke too soon.
uncharacteristic.
That's my mistake.
So both fouls against Haddonfield. Fortunately for Haddonfield, it's a 19-6 game with 47 seconds remaining, and they'll just march it back towards midfield, and they'll be able to kneel it down. But John, before we get out of here, any last thoughts on this game and what you've seen tonight?
Again, same thing that we've been saying. Sterling shouldn't be feeling too bad about this loss. They've done great overall. Defensively, again, offensively, they didn't get some of the big plays out there, but it was still a very good night for Sterling overall.
47 seconds remaining in this, and the ball comes all the way back to the Haddonfield 40. They'll just have to kneel it down once, maybe twice, and then that'll do the game for tonight. And I think with some of these sophomores that we're seeing on the field for Sterling, the future is definitely bright.
Absolutely. And you know, this is a game where you can learn from, and, you know, just some of the plays that were made. I'm looking at a kid like Gavin Clark that is just going to have more confidence after this game with some of the plays that he made. Jeremiah Thompson, hopefully he's okay, because he really did some nice things, and he had it tough. Didn't have a lot of time to throw, but really stood in there and made some nice throws under pressure. Like Estremera, the big touchdown reception, and the defensive line, you know, for the second week in a row. Obviously, you know, Haddonfield getting that ball and just controlling time possession did the job in the fourth quarter, but the defensive line made a lot of plays throughout this game. But, you know, there are some good things to take out of it, but you still have to get to the point where you can make the plays to come out on top in a game like this. They're not to that point yet, but they're getting there. And like I said, you got to focus on the positives here. But a tough loss.
So Haddonfield is going to win it by a final score of 19-6. Their big play of the game, Tommy Batson, a 76-yard touchdown run early. Sterling's big play, Michael Estremera, 45 yards. So again, your final score, Haddonfield wins it 19-6. For Kevin Schulz and for John Hallward, I'm Tad Kozaneski. We will talk to you next time right here on